This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Yo, freaks. How's it going tonight? Awesome. And there's Chloe and Blue. They're getting settled in for the show. Doing the stepkids set up the power washer. We're power washing outside. I did so myself. Those things work amazing, man. Those power washers. Pretty crazy. Yep, so tonight you see up at the top of the screen on the upper left. That's the goal for tonight's show. Will we be able to hit it? Who the hell knows, right? But if you can help support the channel, that would be fantastic. Alright? We also have the Super Freak mode up there, and now you can see Mo S is a little lower now, where Eugenie almost took over. So thank you. And by the way, yeah, the thing is we're gonna do what we've done before. I think we did like 2.5 months ago or so, the Kohberger affidavit again, because the I think it was I don't know if it was a warrant or what the document. I think it's Kohberger probable cause or whatever the hell it was for his arrest. That has the answer in it. So here's the thing: when you go over that, if you're confused at the end and still wonder, wow, then that means there's something wrong with you, not the warrant or anything like that. That means that you're somebody who, even given like incredible circumstantial evidence where it's stacked upon each other, you're somebody who just can't get it. Like you're just, I watch so much TV, I need to have the DNA here, and I need to have the video camera here, and I need to have this one, and you don't, man. This is, if I was in a jury and I only heard and was presented the information that is in this probable cause document, I'd find him guilty of first-degree murder like in a heartbeat. I don't need anything more. But amazingly, they probably have a shitload more that they've already discovered, and today a grand jury indicted him on the murders. So coming up soon, he's going to have to, he's going to either plead innocent or guilty. I'm sure he's going to plead innocent, like they all do. He really wants his trial to, the information to come out of what he did. He's relishing it. Okay, there is no chance that Bryan Kohberger didn't do this. Okay?
Just the facts. Boom.
That's right. Thanks, Amber Maiden. Looks like, what happened? Maybe you did it so soon that you're not taking over the Super Freak spot. Yeah, we've had that issue before, because, what was the one right before? Eugenie snuck in with the Black Cat dollar, and then you came in, and I think it was so fast that it didn't take Mo out. But anyways, thank you. And I'm not even sure. Well, it looks like it got up on the stream goal. Maybe it did work. I don't know. Oh, and then John Dunn's going to sneak in. Well, it might go soft and high because they go like this. Hello, how's it going? Hey, and when I was walking down the street and I had to stop, turned up the radio and dropped it like that. Yeah, I don't have it attached to my head. I could leave it more like here if you're somebody that just, oh, I can't watch. The audio goes in and out. Yeah, well, don't watch then. Okay, this is a channel for people with brains and are able to use them and listen and figure things out. Like, whoa, this actually makes sense, everybody. All right, let's see. So let's take a look at some of these articles that came out here. All right, we've got the Bryan Kohberger. Let me move to a different screen so you can see. Bryan Kohberger indicted in Idaho student murder. Look how Mo's name's still up there. Hold on one second. I gotta fix that. Ding, 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 ding. And actually, they have the charges now that were brought back by the grand jury. A second. Resetting it. 2,500. Okay, there we go. Now I'm up there, and you can take me off of it. Now it'll work correctly. Sorry about that. Okay. So Bryan Kohberger indicted in Idaho student murders. Bryan Kohberger, the criminology Ph.D. student, accused of home invasion murders of 4 University of Idaho undergrads, has been indicted by a grand jury in Latah County. So now there's no need for a preliminary hearing so that the judge can say, yes, I find probable cause, and it moves forward. Okay, so this avoids not Madison Logan. Now let's see, it was hold on, let me open the document. So the two other roommates, I think it's let me see, Bethany Funk and shit, my brain isn't remembering the other one's name. The main one is actually her name. We'll have it here in a few minutes, but they won't have to go meet and testify or anything like that. This is an actual grand jury, has a true bill. They're going to indict him, and he is going to have a trial unless he pleads guilty, and then there isn't going to be a trial. So there you go. That's right, Dylan Mortensen, right. All right, so the superseding indictment means the accused quadruple murder will not have a chance to attack the evidence used to arrest him at a preliminary hearing that had been scheduled for the week of June 26. So that would have been a preliminary hearing. A new arraignment has been scheduled for Monday at 9 a.m. It also spares the 2 surviving housemates and other potential witnesses from having to testify under cross-examination prior to trial. The move was not unexpected. Prominent Boise defense attorney Edwina Elcock said in January that it could be announced at any moment once a grand jury has been impaneled behind closed doors and convinced the charges should stand. And so the thing is if I was on the grand jury and I was merely presented what is on the probable cause document, I would be, oh yeah, let's go ahead. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand people out there that are just so, it's almost like they don't want him to be, because they wanted it to keep lingering, so they're frustrated.
Chewbacca?
Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Here, I'm going to just download this into my folder here. And open that one up. Thank you, Kathy Chapin. So here are the charges. I'm sure they're all the same, but basically, I'll just read one since they're all the same. You can just replace the name on it. That the defendant, Bryan Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogen, from which she died. And that they're all the same. So the next one is the same thing with Kaylee Gonzalez, Zena Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. There is no different terminology or anything like that. And that was decided upon May 16th, so yesterday. So boom. All right, so for all the clowns out there that thought, I don't know, man, I don't know, man. Yes, he definitely, he did it. Okay, he did do this, everybody. Well, Gray, just because you say it doesn't mean it happened, guy. Okay, here's another one. Crim 2 said Bryan Kohberger indicted by grand jury to appear in court Monday. The Latah County District Court clerk confirms that Bryan Kohberger will now appear in court on Monday, May 22nd at 9 a.m., where he will likely enter a plea. And I'd be shocked if he said he's guilty, but it's possible if he is aware of all of the things, because it sounds like the defense was given literally thousands of pages of documents and terabytes of video and audio files out there. So, you know, it's not looking good for good old Bryan Kohberger, but he believes in his own mind that he is so awesome that he'll find a way out of it. Because, you know, he's just so bright and thought through everything so well. He is just incredible. The Latah County District Court clerk said the grand jury indicted Kohberger on all charges with the grand jury indictment. Thank you, K-Me. The indictment means the grand jury believes there is enough evidence for the case to proceed to trial.
I'll be back if you want me to.
Your animations are the best.
Well, thank you. Kohberger is accused of stabbing and killing Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, Zena Kernodle, and Madison Mogen, etc., etc. So, you know, great news. I'm not going to play any of their videos. Don't need to. So what we're going to do now is just go straight into. All right, so we know Ethan Chapin, Zena Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez were all killed. I believe it was November 13th, right around, I would say, between 4:07 and 4:18 in the morning, something like that. That's when they were all killed in a small amount of time. And this is on the Moscow, Idaho campus of the University of Idaho. And, you know, there's tons and tons of rumors going around. You know, I thought maybe the boyfriend did it, of Kaylee. You know, it just seemed like the timing of things that were going on there. But, you know, as soon as they cleared him, boom, you're off of that. Definitely felt like that. That theory didn't work. But, you know, the other theory we all had was that it was just some random killer. And that's kind of what it turned out to be. You know, it seemed like, though, for most people, that it was somebody that knew them because of the anger and sort of the ferociousness of it. And maybe Bryan Kohberger knew him somehow. I mean, knew them, excuse me. Maybe they, you know, he messaged some. It seems like there's some information out there where he liked some accounts. Maybe he tried to message couple of the girls or something. We don't really have any, like, verifiable information about that, but hopefully, I mean, I would have loved to be a preliminary hearing, to be honest with you, because at that hearing you get to hear a bunch of information. Now it's just going to wait until a trial, and because of that, does anybody think there's even a shot in hell that there's going to be a trial anytime in the next year and a half? These kind of cases like this will often take 3 or 4 years to even make it to a courtroom. And Bryan Kohberger, he'll probably do things like he'll switch attorneys, and then they get months to catch up. He might even say he'll represent himself in the middle of that, and then somebody else will come. They just do the same thing over and over. Hey, thanks, Kim Berger. The people who think Kohberger was set up. I know, those people are crazy people. It's weird. But if you say that they're crazy, they think you're mean, but they are crazy
Kohberger
people.
was set up and isn't guilty make me so crazy. How can people be that stupid?
I don't know, Kim Berger. I don't know. Hey, thanks, Karen Van Patten. So almost every case, for example, the Delphi case, if Richard Allen goes to trial this entire next year, I mean, it'd be an absolute shock. So this year is going to be over at in 5 months. I'm talking about next year, 2024. If he even goes into trial that year, I mean, it wouldn't be incredibly shocking, but I think it's going to be at least into that year. There's almost no chance that Richard Allen will be going to trial sometime this year. Well, it takes a while. Some trials you can go right to them. Back in the day, in the 50s, I mean, this is how it would be in the 50s. Yeah, we think this guy did it. 2 weeks later, trial, executed 4 days later. Bye. Good night now. Yeah, it definitely isn't like that anymore. In some ways, that's good, because I think a lot of innocent people were probably killed, executed, before DNA was a thing. DNA has exonerated many people off of death row. So you got to realize that before DNA was invented, that those same people that were on death row that would have been exonerated by DNA never had that chance and were literally executed who did not commit the crime. And I'm of the belief that if you even do that once, that's too many. So I'd like to get it to where death penalty should be rare and only in specific cases where you have this absolute 100% proof. There was cases back in the day where people would go, they'd just say shit like, oh yeah, he looked like that. Yeah, okay, guilty, execute him. Wow, really? It was dark there. You barely saw the guy. I don't know. It's crazy. So I think it should be rare and hard to meet a specific criteria, and the rest of them just get life without parole. And maybe we bring back the hard labor situation. But it's so mean, Gray. Good. What kind of human rights was that? Well, how about what kind of human rights was it when they chopped somebody's head off and had sex with it? Okay, what kind of human rights was that? Right. Okay, here we go. We're moving over to... We're going to move over to the doc. Let's see, what do they call this one? Okay, it's a warrant here. All right, and so basically it all just kind of starts when we get to Exhibit A here. So let's just, I think it's, where was Exhibit A? Did I just zipped right past that? What does this part say? Okay, I'm not doing that. I think it's right above here. I think why is my brain not seeing it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay, Exhibit A, statement of Dustin Blaker. All right, so if you really want to, if you're somebody out there that you're just not sure, yeah, well, we don't have to care about that, Octopus. Now, I know that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, okay? Now, in a court of law, they're presumed innocent until proven guilty. I think this document proves he's guilty, 100%, So that's what it seems like to me, that he's proven guilty 100%, so I'm going to say that, right? All right, so here we go. We're going to go through this whole damn thing yet again. And when it's over, try to really kind of follow along and, you know, I hate to say it, you know, it sounds like I'm in school, but like pay attention, you know, because when you pay attention to this and you see what is actually happening here, it is absolutely devastating for Bryan Kohberger. Hey, thanks, WNC Granny. Hey, what's going on with Google Earth here? It's kind of slow. Might have to, okay, there we go. Alright. I got so much crap on this one. It's unbelievable. And if you watched any of my old videos, there by going through the timeline, I identified a 10 or 15 minutes of missing time in his route back to Pullman, Washington. So I think originally he had thrown the weapon out somewhere around in this area, possibly, in the bloody clothing. I don't think he would have kept driving with it. Some people think, oh, he put it in a bag. And really? You're going to drive around with a bloody knife and bloody clothing in a bag in your car? Or would you put it somewhere first and then try to find that later? You know what I'm saying? Here, let me move this down a little bit. There we go. I should do tests at the end. Okay, so I got so much crap in here, but let's just start at the Exhibit A. The below information is provided by Sergeant Dustin Blaker. I am duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Latah, State of Idaho. I'm employed by Moscow Police Department. So I'm going to pass through the stuff where his what do you call it? His history and what qualifies him. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Corporal Brett Payne. So this is 4 p.m. the next day. That isn't, you know, so it's almost exactly 12 hours later. And I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. So 1122 King Road is right here. That's the house right there. Okay, and now that there's no street view anymore, so there's nothing to look at, sadly. I mean, they just buttoned that sucker right up. I think the building's still there, but it was right there. You know, I mean, look at this whole thing. Just, I mean, it looks like a fog bank rolled in there. No, it's not, Zozo. It's he just got, he went to a, what do you call it? A grand jury just indicted him. So I'm going to go over the whole thing again for all the people out there who, when you see it, you get to know that this guy did it. You'll actually feel really good about telling people, yes, he did it. And you'll be able to, you know, squash the morons out there that keep telling you, I don't know, man, I think it's a setup. Like, I think his roommates, you know, give me a break. It's ridiculous. And that's a fact that they're ridiculous. Hold on a second. All right. So they got there at 4 p.m. Moscow Police Department Corporal Brett Payne and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Hereafter, the King Road residence. To assist with scene security and process of crime scene associated with the homicide. The homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing it. Let's see. OFC Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom door on the north side of the building. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. So here's what happened. Excuse me. They walked in. They didn't do this stuff. They didn't walk around like this. But they went in. That's the door they came in from right there. And went up the stairs. All right. So hold on. I got to get something. I keep coughing. Wow, sometimes in the evening I get this allergy stuff starts coming in. Alright. They walked up the stairs to the second floor. OFC Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom. Now, where I have that body doesn't match with what they're saying here. That's just where I had put it. On the second floor, which I later learned through Zaina's driver's license, another personal belongings found in the room was Zaina Kernodle. Hereafter, Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. So I don't know what, when they're saying that, is there a reason we need to know that? I mean, is that actually where Ethan might have been? On the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, so now they're saying that Ethan was also in the room, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds, later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane County Medical Examiner, to be caused by short force injury 2. Also in the room, I apologize. I just got this crazy itchy thing in my throat, so if you give me a minute, I can just... I am by the vent. The vent's right here. I mean, that's how it's always been. That's why I'm so excited to get this new, converting the garage into a complete living space, even with a bathroom and everything. So that's going to go from the end of May for 3 months. So sometime in the end of the summer, it's going to be hallelujah. All right, I've been waiting to do this for years. I have a small house. I'm not rich, right? I have a small house, and basically it's less than 1,000 square feet. The garage is like 400, so we're adding that with a bathroom and a room and everything, and so that'll be cool. But I've had this office in the living room for like 15 years, and we don't really use the living room for what it should be for, where you just hang out, watch movies and shit like that, right? So I think this cough drop kind of worked already. So thanks, Wendy Peppercorn. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Now I can even get back. I used to do these things where I have this motion capture device. Hey Gary, I'll do whatever the hell I feel like. Okay, man. Thanks. Appreciate your concern. these clowns, dude. This is so crazy. All right, I was trying to get rid of my cough. If you were paying attention. Okay, as I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined also by sharp force. I then followed OFC Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bedroom. So, 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Excuse me. The bedroom on the west side of the wall of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee, hereafter Gonzalez's room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonzalez and her ex-boyfriend Jack DeCoeur. I found out from Corporal Payne interview with Jack on November 13, 2022, that he and Gonzalez shared the dog. OFC Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. So here we go again. Inside of here, so after we go into the room here, Kaylee's on the ground, or Zana's on the ground there. Then you go up the stairs, just like this. And almost exactly how he described it there. This is Kaylee's room right there. And there's a dog back here in the corner. You know, you can kind of see him right there. And then there's the bathroom right here. And that's why this room is smaller than Kaylee's room, because it takes up a similar size footprint other than that whole square where the bathroom is. So this is Madison Mogan's room. I later learned, a review of Officer Nunez's body camera, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonzalez and her ex-boyfriend Jack. I found out from an interview with Jack that they shared the dog, and then it says, the bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan, hereafter Mogan's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. So that's her room right there, and obviously there's a wall in there that shares a wall with the bathroom. Thank you, Susie Clue. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Gonzalez and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I was later advised by ISP investigators they located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. Okay, so when you go into the room like this, I think this is exactly how how it was set up. This is Mogan. I think the sheath was likely right here, and the reason I think that is because if she was on her back and it was next to her right side, they would have said between her and the wall, but they didn't say that. If it was, if she was over here and it was on her right side, they would say the knife sheath was between Kaylee and Madison, but they didn't say that. They said the knife sheath was to the right of Madison, and there was no other location information given, so it means that she was on the outer portion and the knife sheath was just like that, and they were likely face down just like that. All right, and then I put the dog at the door there. But, so there you go. As I entered the bedroom, I could see 2 females in a single bed. Both Gonzalez and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I was later advised by ISP investigators and located a tan leather sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle, Globe, and Anchor's insignia stamped on the outside of it. Thank you, Danielle and Nana Pam. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife sheath. So they did find some DNA on the button strap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. Both Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicide. So let me show you where they were. Okay, so go back to the model here. You go outside. This room was unoccupied and had storage in it. This room right over here was Bethany Funk. And as you can see, when I turn around here, see the stairs that go up there? That means it's just below the living room. Or, the family room, whatever you want to call it, right? So then, now we're going to go up those stairs. So right at this point, right below here is where Bethany Funk lives. Then, again, we go here, and then I'm going to go all the way up here again, and then now I'm on the 3rd floor, going down the steps. This right here is the living room, or the family room again. It's right there. To the right is the television set. But right at the bottom of the stairs is another door. And that's where Dylan Mortensen lived. And this is where her night of horrors was played out. Like, she literally sat here, and this door was likely something more like this, where she was kind of peeking through the door there and could see and hear all kinds of things. She was in a horrific position to be able to hear everything. Right above her head is where Kaylee Gonzalez's room is. So, if you picture it like this is Kaylee's room right there. Then that is, I think I got that right. Hold on, let me check this again. And this is Madison Mogen, her room. And then when you go down it could be right below Madison's room, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's below Madison, sorry. Kaylee's is above the kitchen. So Madison Mogen. So this is a nightmare room too. Look what a nightmare it is for Dylan Mortensen, you guys. She could hear everything here, and right above her head is Madison Mogen's room. Yeah, I know, Nellie. I just said that, okay? It's right below Madison Mogen's room. So the whole time she's down there, it is like she hears the entire attack upstairs. She hears I'm not sure why she ever thought, I could hear the dog playing and everything. That doesn't make really much sense. It's like, that might be what she was hoping and thought she heard, but and then right around the corner here is Zeno's bedroom. It's crazy. Right. Yeah, so you go down these stairs, and she's Kaylee's room is right below the kitchen, and sort of like the roof. Her deck is sort of that roof of the cement deck that you exit when you exit the kitchen. So if you're coming at the very end here, I have the person leave. So again, this is right at the bottom of the stairs. This is Dylan Mortensen's room. And then after you leave Dylan Mortensen's room, to the right is the family room. And then here's the kitchen. And then you go out these doors, and right above is the same deck for Kaylee Gonzalez's bedroom. Does this make sense to everybody? You guys following along here? Everything good? Yeah, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe as well. So this should all make sense to everybody. I'll just do one more time flying through here so you can just get it. This is the downstairs entry. To the right is a room that was used for storage, golf clubs, whatever. This right here to the right is a laundry room and another sort of utility room there. And then this is the room that Bethany Funk lived in. Just above her head is the living room, which is right up these stairs. Right now, Bethany Funk is right below here. This is Zena Kernodle's bedroom and the bathroom just to the left there. They were both apparently found in the room here. Then after that, you go upstairs. And at the top of the stairs to the left is Kaylee Gonzalez's room, and there are her dog is in the room. And then right over here is Madison Mogen's room, which is directly above Dylan Mortensen's room. And the sheath was right here on the bed. They were both found dead right there. Then you go down the stairs, and when you go down the stairs, you go into Dylan Mortensen's room. This is where she was when she saw the guy with the bushy eyebrows. What's going on? Do you guys give away? Does somebody give away some? Oh, look at that! John Dunn give away 5 memberships. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. And then right here, you go out the kitchen, and boom! I think the car was up the bank and up in that parking area over there. Okay. So, anyways, that's that. So we'll leave it here, and then later on, if we have any need to use it again, we'll use that. But hopefully, the visuals are helping you guys. Okay, so it says right here they were just inside the residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, so later in the evening, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by Bethany Funk at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus, which is here is the King Road residence, and the fraternity is right there. And they were seen there around 9 o'clock by Bethany Funk, the girl that lives on the bottom floor down that hallway that we just showed. Gonzalez and Mogan were at a local bar. We saw the video. Remember the video that we saw with the other Jack walking down the street, and then they went to Grubhub. Nothing nefarious about Grubhub, nothing about any of that stuff. I mean, it looked kind of nefarious at the beginning, but when you see that he kind of walked in with them, it sort of made you change your mind a little bit. Gonzalez and Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club, at 202 Main Street in Moscow, and seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonzalez and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck. Yeah, so the Corner Club, they said from 10 to 1:30, and the Corner Club is right, let's see, I think it was, right here. That's the Corner Club. And then apparently they walk down the street, and we see surveillance footage right here of Kaylee and Madison walking with another individual, Jack, who then keeps walking with them, and then goes to where the Grub Truck was parked right here, and that was at 318 South Main Street, the Grub Truck was, and they're ordering food, and then they take off with the driver, and this individual takes off himself. That the guy that was with them, he was just really kind of a sort of chaperoning. All right, so at approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonzalez and Mogan can be seen on video at a local vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from the food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. Thanks, Danielle. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Gonzalez and Mogan at 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow. So I think that means the time they got home, because it seems like they left a little bit before that. In front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk both made statements during that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. Everybody. So, Zena Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Bethany Funk, Dylan Mortensen, and Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were all home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by 4 a.m. So they were all home by at least 2, and they were either sleeping or in their rooms by 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Now, a lot of people are speculating that is Bryan Kohberger, except 4 a.m. is before Kohberger shows up. They do say approximately 4 a.m. And it does bother me that we don't get to know exactly when that guy drove by that same camera. They would have that information. They don't need to say approximately 4. So, who knows, right? That would be crazy if he was acting as if he was the DoorDash driver, but really, then he has to how would he make sure that he got the order? See, that's stuff that people don't think through. Like, how would Kohberger have made sure that he was the DoorDash driver that got the delivery? Anybody? And the thing is the Jack in the Box, there's only one that's even open, and it's actually in Pullman, Washington. But he was already, another thing is, Bryan Kohberger, based on the information in here, was already in Moscow area prior, so he couldn't have bought that. You understand that? All right. Oh, hey, Mama She 13, thanks for the PayPal there. So again, let's just. I would think law enforcement would have seen. Let's just get through this, all right? Dylan Mortensen stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Dylan Mortensen stated she was awoken at 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. But man, right above her head is Madison Mogen's room. So what was that sound? Because she doesn't know exactly what time. She says approximately 4 a.m. It could have been 4:08, could have been, so we don't really get to know that. But what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with the dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the 3rd floor. A short time later, Dylan Mortensen said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez say something to the effect, "There's someone here." So she thinks it was Kaylee say that. A review of records obtained from forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. See, that's interesting there. Like if the killer went upstairs first and killed Madison Mogen and Kaylee, then he comes down and they're still awake at this time, but there's some conflicting information in here. Dylan Mortensen stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Dylan Mortensen stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Dylan Mortensen then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." See, so that's one of the things when I hear that, it makes me think that this is his second time there, because let me just throw this out there. He goes and let's just say he came in and he attacked Ethan and Zana first, then goes upstairs. And then he comes back downstairs, because this is all of this could be done in like 4 minutes. See, everyone goes, wow, 4 minutes, ooh. Man, no, when somebody's attacking brutally like that, it can be done in even less than what I just said. So who knows what happened here. But here's the thing is, why would somebody say, in the first attack, when you're attacking Zana Kernodle the first time, why would you say to her, "It's okay, I'm going to help you"? To me, something had already happened to her. Here's an example. He goes into the house and he attacks Zana and Ethan. He goes upstairs and kills Madison and Kaylee. Then on the way down, he hears whining and whimpering, just like Dylan Mortensen said. Then he walks over there and he says, "It's okay, I'm here to help you," and then he finishes her off. You see that? That's strange. I think that it seems like he heard her still struggling and alive, whimpering, went over there, and then he killed her. Finished her off, and then maybe even threw her on the ground or something like that that made the thud that we hear later. Anyways, and then it says at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, which is right here. So this is where, 1122 and 1112 is right there. Okay, they have a Ring doorbell camera on the front of this house, and it's like 60 feet away. They say 50, but it's like 60 feet away from this wall over here. And you could definitely probably hear something if it was set off. All right, so listen, you guys, if you guys want to help support the channel, I have the goal set up on the screen there. It helps me continue doing these shows, and also I take a lot of the income off of this channel. Probably could have built that garage a couple of years ago. Take a lot of the income off the channel and send it into charities. Right? We've sent in $148,250 since January 2020 from the income, and also this year we were already over 21,000 something, but last year we did 62. Probably won't hit that same number this year, but there you go. So I have the goal set up on the screen every single night. You guys can see it up there, and I'd appreciate it if you could help make that happen. There's a lot of people watching. Should be pretty simple. All right. Dylan Mortensen stated she opened her door for the third time as she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black. Okay, up here it says a dog. Let me get through this part. Approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road that I just showed you, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. So I think that the whisper, the "I'm here to help," and the thud are all connected. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Cornado's bedroom. Dylan Mortensen stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. So what we're talking about right here is let me go all the way upstairs and back down to, this is Dylan Mortensen's room. So she's right like this, and see from that door you can see somebody coming around from Zaina's room, which is around the corner, and then coming out. Thanks, Robin. As she stated, she opened the door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan Mortensen described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. So if you're somebody that watched this channel, we knew about the bushy eyebrows. I knew about it 3 or 4 weeks prior, but right when they said an arrest was made, I told you guys that I had information that he had bushy eyebrows, and then it shows up in this document here. The male walked past Dylan Mortensen as she stood in frozen shock phase. That's what she called it. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan Mortensen locked herself in her room after seeing the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of Dylan Mortensen's statement to law enforcement, review of forensic download of records from Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, phone and video of the suspect vehicle as described below leads investigators to believe the homicide occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Yeah, and this is Kohberger right here. You can definitely see that he's got the bushy eyebrows. Although I'm sure he's plucked the living crap out of him since he's been in jail. But see, you can see that it looks like, I bet he has. I bet he's cut him a little bit. What a clown. Jesus. The combination of Dylan Morton's statement to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany Funk and Dylan Morton's phone, and video of the suspect vehicle as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4... See, I could narrow this down more. I mean, it's between 4:05 and 4:17, right? Not 4 and 4:25. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of Vans type shoe sole just outside the door, Dylan Morton's bedroom. Located on the second floor. It's on 2B there. Yeah, everybody questions stuff, but once it's figured out, you don't need to keep questioning little crazy little things. Hey, oh wow, do we know what Kohberger's roommate was doing? How do we know he didn't steal Kohberger's phone and take his car and he did it and then he drove it back? How do we know? Because we ruled out aliens too a while ago. As part of the investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Wow, thank you, Wisco Nick. 10. That's very cool, thank you. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022 in the area of King Road residence and surrounding neighborhood in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect's vehicle traveling to or leaving from King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and had a conversation with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. Thank you, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, and they call it Suspect Vehicle 1, and every time they refer to Suspect Vehicle 1, it's Bryan Kohberger's vehicle. It's not somebody else's vehicle. It has one license plate on it. They know what it looks like. It is Suspect Vehicle 1. It isn't Suspect Vehicle 2, 3, 4, 5, or someone that looks similar. Was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. So this is over here, right there. It was at 3:26 a.m., 700 Indian Drive, ping. Hey, thank you, Mile Runner.
Ocean
What was your best
Ocean
time, Mile
Wave.
Runner?
Thanks, Greg.
You ever break 4
Ocean
minutes?
Ocean Wave.
A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at 3:26. Okay, so we go down to the street view here, and I think I've even identified that this house on the 700 block is the one that filmed him, because when you zoom in, there you go. There's a little Ring doorbell camera right on the corner there, and he was driving by. So he comes by, drives up this direction, and so we'll just put it about right here. Approximately 3:20. So it says westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow. So it makes it right up here to Steiner Avenue. And here's Highway 95. And right here was 3:28. So from right here, a 2-minute drive, he blows by this A&W restaurant right here. And we heard early on that this A&W here has a camera on it, but that shot there is too old, so you have to find, I think let's go to here maybe. Yeah, this is newer, this is 2021. So I think when you go down here, you can look up on this building, and you can see up here there's tons of cameras. There's 1, 2, might even be one right there, a couple of them over here. So that camera picked up the same suspect vehicle 1, Bryan Kohberger's vehicle, driving by right there. And that was at 3:28. And then what Kohberger does, though, is he kind of just keeps looping around for a while. The same vehicle. And, I mean, how many white Elantras are driving around at 3:26 to 4:15 in the morning anywhere? Okay? A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Latah Drive. So that means that when they say it drove by the residence, I don't think it drove by, I mean, it could have, I guess, but it'd be kind of tough. I just think it was driving around like this. But I guess it's definitely possible that it came around like this and then boom, out, because there is a road, there is a way that you can drive just like this, around and out and like this. So it's possible that he's on this camera here multiple times and just kept looping around. So this is the loop that he could easily just take, just like this. You know, it's not long, doesn't take a long time. And just keeps driving by the 1122 King Road residence. Now, it's also possible he was just over here and they're just referring to him driving by the area, even though it's not exactly right on there. Okay, these sightings show suspect vehicle 1 make an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Latah Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during, well, there you go, the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1, again, Kohberger's vehicle, can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m., which is around 4 o'clock. You know, so that's where the DoorDash driver, theory comes from. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road. So I'll leave this off the screen and show you what this car does. So this is King Road right here. So even though that says King Road, well, this is King Road, but this right here is actually Queen Road, but they kind of intermix them sometimes. And apparently back in the day, this house here was actually off of King Road, and there was a driveway that went over, and all of these residents were actually King Road, but now there's a Queen Road right here. So suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, which is this direction. It's actually Queen Road. Stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52. So I think it's over here. I think it drove by and then found an area in here and turns around. Then it comes back out like this. It appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. So it says, so it turned around at number 52, then driving back westbound like this on King Road, which is actually Queen Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of King Road residence, which is right there, there's a huge parking area. It appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. because I think he wanted to go up here. So when he drove by, he was like, oh shit, I passed he wanted to go back up in here. So then he continues this way on Queen Road. The vehicle then continues to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, which is right here, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn. So it goes like this, likely turns this way, backs up, then goes back this direction, then driving eastbound again on Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at 4:20. So, I mean, it's absolutely incredible, everybody. So this car, the suspect vehicle 1, which is Bryan Kohberger's vehicle, went like this, and it drove by originally at 4:04. So this whole turning around and whatnot, you know, it was probably 4:05, 4:06 when it was doing that. Then it comes up here, parks the car, likely up in the woods right here. This is the residence. So he's over here at 4:06, 4:07. He goes down, and then he goes into the house at this point. Although it doesn't say that in here, but that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's Bryan Kohberger's vehicle is right there. It's seen leaving at 4:20 at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. So that means, boom, he gets the hell out of here. Zoop. And then right up here is Walenta Drive going southbound. He's getting the hell out of Dodge. This is Walenta Drive. See, Walenta Drive right there. And that says Taylor Avenue, but here's Walenta Drive again. And then it sort of ends right there, although I think it kind of loops around, Walenta Drive does. So I think this is Walenta. Well, that's Walenta too, so I'm not really sure if it continues around like that, but it was at a southbound at a high rate of speed. Traveling southbound on Walenta Drive, based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1. So when he was doing his loops, they could see what cameras and how he made his loops around to get there. But on the way out, he didn't go by any of those cameras. And based on the knowledge of this person, they said he believes that suspect vehicle 1 exited the neighborhood at Palusa River Drive and Conestoga Drive. So that's exactly what I have on this blue diagram here. He drove down like this, and he comes out right down here, and then he heads out this way and then turns right on Highway 95 right here. So let's see what it says. It says, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palusa River Drive. Palusa River Drive is on the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage from suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years of law enforcement experience and 12 years of FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles and uses a database that gives visual clues to vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, they indicated it could also be 2011 to 2016, so they added 3 more years that it could possibly look like. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons of possession of a vehicle that is 2011 to 2016. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. WSU maintains a series of surveillance cameras on or near its campus, A review of that video indicated that approximately, so we're going over to Pullman, Washington over here. At approximately 2:44 on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance camera traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street. So I think that was right around in this area. Yeah, there is 244. So it was heading up this direction. It was just kind of, they don't know exactly what it was doing over there. But on November 13, 2022, a white sedan was seen consistent with the description of the white Elantra as Suspect 1. It was observed on WSU surveillance camera traveling north on Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way at approximately 2:53 a.m. A white sedan is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1 was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington. And so I think he was going like this. Went down like this, and some, whether he went down around like this and got on the 270, or he went around like this and got on the 270, whatever he did, he took a really out-of-the-way drive around and got on the 270 here. And it even says, so Suspect Vehicle 1 was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270, and there it is, SR 270. And it connects to Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. The camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington. So if you look at it like this, almost 3 o'clock here, he's over here at 3:28, the same white Elantra. Then he leaves at 4:20, and then at 5:25, the same Elantra is showing back up into Pullman, Washington. It says at approximately 5:25, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, on WSU campus. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road. So I think that's over here. There's 1300 Johnson Road as it's driving in at 5:25 in the morning, everybody. And that's because, look at this loop that the white Elantra took. This crazy route through the hills and everything. What he was doing up there, we don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was getting rid of bloody items. So it's seen coming back into town at 5:25, and again 5:25 right there, really close. Then 5:27 up here. Then it's seen at 5:27 here, and it's headed towards, and I think it pinged, 5:27 right here at Stadium Way and Cougar Way, and Kohberger lives right there. So this same white Elantra is basically heading home, right? Right there. And, interestingly, 242, his phone pings there. Then it pings here. And, so we'll get that in a little bit. But the white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard. So I've already shown you where all those were. So I'm going to skip down to here. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Honda Elantra in the area. November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officers, Danielle. Hey, by the way, would you guys hit the like button, for God's sakes? We got 877 people here with 401 likes. That's ludicrous. Okay, so we're going to have to hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button. It's one of the easiest damn things to ever do in the world. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Also, if you at the same time, you could help support the channel and get that goal up to where it's supposed to be. Thank you very much. Hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 85, 90. Hit that like button.
30, 25, better than 30. You want to put 30, sir. 25 of them, you're out.
Yeah, well, I wasn't talking to you then if you already did it, right? Yeah, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. Hey, see you later, Fuentes. You sound like a total dipshit. Bye-bye. Nobody's interested. Hey, thanks, Tito. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Honda Elantra. On November 29th, so right now we're looking at maybe 2 weeks later after the murders. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Danielle Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger. Hereafter, Kohberger residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201. It's approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar. Last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. Yeah, everybody does, Nelly. Everybody questions things that don't make sense. But there isn't anything here that doesn't make sense. It's you, people not wanting something to make sense, so then it doesn't make sense. All right, that same day at approximately 12:58 a.m. So now we're, this is, let me go back. Oh yeah, so this is back on, 2 weeks after the murders. The same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Honda Elantras and located a 2015 white Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male Dylan Mortensen saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam and reports, showed that on August 21st of 2022, which is way before the murders, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by Corporal Duke. At the time, Kohberger was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Honda Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number, hereafter 8458. So he gave it on body camera. His phone number ends in 8458. As his cellular telephone number, investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained again as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Honda Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649. On November 18, 2022, according to Washington State License, Kohberger registered the 2000 and licensing is what it said, not license. Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate CFB 8709. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado, which is interesting about Loma, Colorado because it's right near where one of Ted Bundy's where one of his victims was murdered. And actually, I have a theory. I made a video on it a long time ago that Kohberger was really interested in serial killers, and one of his teachers was really into that. And you know, he might have been paying homage to various serial killers. And you know, Bundy killed those college students in Florida, and I think it was and like this was an off-campus in the Idaho 4 case. It's an off-campus sort of sorority house, you know. It's like people would party there. So I don't know, but he, you know, this is what Bundy did. Bundy went from Pennsylvania to the state of Washington. Well, that's exactly what Kohberger did. And then before he drove home, he went through Utah, another Bundy area, and down into Colorado, another Bundy area. So, I mean, I find that interesting. So anyway, it says, investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13, 2022 by license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, learned through TLO, which is a search and locate tool database query. Based on information provided by the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a Ph.D. student. But we've learned since then that you know, he was kicked out of the program again. I mean, he's a psycho. I mean, his behavior is ridiculous. Let's see. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay. Hey, welcome, Revengeance. I don't know, I thought you were already a member, but wrote an essay when he applied for internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to... we're all focused in on this case here. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to King Road. On November 13th, 2022, so this is the night of the earlier morning hours of the murder, November 13th, 2022, between 3 and 5 a.m., after determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns, so they're looking at these towers that are right there in town next to the 1122 King Road address. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Well, that's when you put his phone into airplane mode, right? Based on my training and experience, hold on a second. Thank you to Your Gypsy and Mama She 13 on PayPal. But we're only at 50% of the goal, everybody. Based on my training, experience, and conversation with law enforcement officers that specialize in utilizing cellular telephone records as part of the investigation, an individual can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area when a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days. It could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual. Hey, what's going on? Hey, thanks, Danielle. And Annie later, hair down D. That, for some reason, it always makes me laugh when you put that one. So I also know that numerous occasions subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime. See, it's interesting. During these types of surveillance, it's possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. So that's what the criminals do a lot. So even when they're on their surveillance trips, they don't turn off their phones because they're not committing a crime on that day and it just doesn't occur to them. That makes sense? So these guys, they drive, they're going around looking for their prey, and on those nights when they're not going to commit the crime, they don't bother turning their phone off or putting it into airplane mode or anything like that. On December 23rd, 2022, Corporal Payne applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th. So this is, I guess you could say the day before. It's like a 24-hour period that encompasses the murder. And they were looking for Kohberger's 8458 phone held by the phone provided by AT&T at approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicide. On December 23rd, 2022, what do you mean, Nell? He just went into the house. Come on, just think through things before you type something. Hey, thanks, Colleen Daily Page. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, Corporal Payne received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that Kohberger's phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and that the account has been open since July 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, the Moscow Police Department consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony
in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to being certified. Okay, so then it says, which included 6 years. CAS investigators were able to determine estimated locations for Bryan Kohberger's phone. So I'm just going to keep calling it Kohberger's phone instead of 8458. All right. So it says they were able to get information for Kohberger's phone from November 12th to November 13th. On November 13th, at 2:42 a.m., Kohberger's phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to his residence. Okay. Then at 2:47 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage southeast of Kohberger's residence, consistent with Kohberger's phone leaving his residence and traveling south through Pullman. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. So, so look at it like this, everybody. They have, there's the white Elantra. Remember how we were talking about how it was driving right over here and leaving? So they have Kohberger's phone moving around in Pullman, in that area, his Elantra, at, around that same time, 2:42 to 2:52, whatever, right around that time. And it's his phone and the white Elantra seen on cameras here. Okay, so the vehicle seen on cameras is absolutely is Bryan Kohberger's vehicle, because his phone matches up and is consistent with those video surveillance shots of the same vehicle. Do you get that part? So at that point, you don't know who's driving it though, right? At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 Kohberger's phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast. We just went through that. Approximately 2:47 a.m., Kohberger's phone stops reporting to the network. Guess why, everybody? Because that's when he turned it off. That's when he turned it off. Let me put some of these in this system over here. Hold on. Ding 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 diddle ding ding. Thank you, Annie Later Hair Down D. And Danielle. Oops. I'm just trying to get you guys in. I'm trying to do a spin for the last 3 days. Been struggling, so we're not really getting the spins in. All right. Yeah. So the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in the area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. So right after it's seen moving around what's interesting is when it's driving like this, I think, 2:44, his phone is still connecting to the network. But when it's seen at 2:53, he's already turned it off. And isn't it interesting that right at that moment, right after he turns it off, now he's making his move. He's driving around in this area doing whatever, and now he's heading out. His phone is off. It's been off for 6 minutes now. He's driving around. Then he's going to get onto Highway 270 right here. And then it says the 8458 phone, Kohberger's phone, does not report to the network again. Guess what, everybody? It's still moving around, though, at night. Until approximately 4:48. Okay, so we know that he leaves the 1122 address at 4:20. And likely gets over to this area, there it is. I'm just at 4:25. Okay, then at 4:48, his phone pings, and which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho Highway 95 south of Moscow near Blaine, Idaho. So look at this. Right around this area at 4:48, So I think Blaine. Let me get the turn this on. Oh, that's right. There it is. There's the layer button there. Places. There you go. See, there's Blaine right there, right? So it pinged off a tower near Blaine at 4:48, at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho, Highway 95, south of Moscow, Idaho. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with Kohberger's phone traveling south on Idaho 95 to Genesee, Idaho. So Genesee's down here. Goes down this direction. No, it's actually right here. So it says, traveling south, Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west, this direction, towards Union, Idaho. And Union, Idaho is right over here. So right around in this area. Then north, back up to Pullman, Washington. I mean, this is so obvious, everybody. At 5:30 a.m., it says his phone utilizes cell tower resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back. This 5:30 here isn't. This is another day right here, actually. I think it's actually, this would be 5:30 p.m. the same day, but later. Okay, so he's back up here. And look at this, at 5:25, his phone's here. He's coming back into town now on this crazy, out-of-the-way route here.
Enjoying this gray. Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Lisa Murphy. Is this helping you guys here? Because look at, this is Kohberger's phone. It matches up with the surveillance footage that was seen in the towns. And now his phone is awake and moving around way down south of Moscow, Idaho. Look at, this is the route that his phone took right after the murders, this crazy route. Now, I figured out, I did the timing of how this is supposed to work, and there's 15 minutes of missing time before his phone gets down to this area down here. Okay, so I think that he wanted to get rid of the bloody clothing and knife as soon as possible, and when he left Moscow, Idaho, very soon after that, whether he drove over into this area or somewhere around in here, he ditched those items, and perhaps then another day when nobody was looking, he went and picked them up, even later in the same day. So anyways, he comes back around, and then he's heading back up here, and it says that the White launcher that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive, which is matching right up with his cell phone. Based on a review of 8458's phone, estimated location and the Kohberger's phone travel is consistent with that of the White launcher. So right over here, the White launcher is seen on camera, and his phone is also in the area pinging. Okay. Further review indicated that Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources on November 13, 2022, consistent with Kohberger's phone leaving the area of Kohberger's residence at 9 a.m. So I made a whole video on this part where he leaves that same morning. So he gets home, and then 3.5 hours later, he leaves his residence. And it's interesting because all he did was, like, his phone was pinging over here, and he drove straight across like this. And then his phone pinged over here, and then he turned it off again. And I think right at that moment he drove by, did his same little trick, came over here to check to see his handiwork. Because what it says is that on November 13th, 2022, that Kohberger's phone was leaving the area of Kohberger's residence at 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that would provide coverage to King Road residents between 9:12 and 9:21. So they have him leaving. So it was like when he's about in this area is when it's pinging in the area over here. Then he drives over here, and then there aren't a ton of towers out here. So there's a tower that was used by the 1122 address that Kohberger's phone is also pinging in from 912 to 921. So it's likely it picked him up when it's here, and then it kept, we don't know if he turned it off at that point. But Kohberger's phone next utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with his phone traveling back to the area of Kohberger's residence and arriving to the area at 9:32. So, I mean, don't you think it's just crazy? So that same morning, he drives over here. Then he's over here utilizing the same tower of 1122. Then he heads back home, and he's back in the area at 9:32. And I made a whole video on this. It kind of shows you, it takes 40 minutes round trip, but it works if you have a tower that's a little bit further down here. Like he's already left his house, and they're using a tower that's in this area or something. And then boom, he goes over there, drives right by the house, he's probably shocked. Holy shit, they're not even looking at the house yet. Then he turns around and drives all the way back. Okay, so then like I was just reading that part. So it said, let me just start up here. Specifically, Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that would provide coverage to the 1122 King Road residence between 912 and 921. So his phone was pinging off the same tower that would provide service to that house. The Kohberger phone next utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with Kohberger's phone traveling back to the area of Kohberger's residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32. And look at, there's the route of what they drew, and I think mine's really close. I mean, I really couldn't come up with exactly what they have, but you know, it looks pretty good. I mean, I have this area is right, then it comes down like that, and then it goes up. So I mean, I think I have their route. This is where they think the phone pinged. Investigators found that, I mean, what's wild here, though, let me see if there's street view. This is what it looks like out here. I mean, this is, you know, completely dark outside. There's nothing going on. Somewhere out here, I think he put the bloody knife and the bloody clothing, at least for the remainder of that morning. I mean, it's because it's interesting. He sort of heads back out there. Investigators found that the Kohberger's phone did not connect to a cell tower, phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators did not believe that Kohberger's phone was in Moscow on that date. The Kohberger's phone is not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. So there you go. That's crazy too. He's been in the area multiple times, and all of a sudden he's never back there again. Based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the Kohberger's phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra. Not just likely, he is the driver. That is observed departing Pullman. That his vehicle is likely, but in these warrants like this, you just have to have likely. That's it. They know that it's his vehicle. Additionally, the route of travel of Kohberger's phone during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, and the lack of Kohberger's phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 and 4:48 is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during... So isn't that amazing, everybody? Just think about it like this. His phone pings the entire route home, likely because he needs to figure out how the hell to get home in these weird back roads. The only time his phone wasn't pinging anywhere was right when he's leaving, turns off, all the way through the murders, and then it turns back on miraculously just as he's leaving out the back end over here. I mean, give me a break, everybody. Come on. I mean, let's focus on what we're actually talking about right here. On December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022 to current perspective. I'd like everybody to kind of keep going along with what we're talking about, because I think that's how you're going to really get this stuff. Okay, is that cool? Or instead of just random side conversations? I mean, this is where, if you follow along here, you'll actually know that this guy is the killer. Is that possible at all, or is that cool, everybody? Yeah, well, let's just stick with it. Oh, I wasn't even talking to you, Zozo, but hey, thanks for admitting that you're not talking about what we're talking about. Hey, thanks, known as 617. Yeah. Well, you should know, Nellie B. You're that's what I mean. You're kind of more of a conspiratorial nutter. All right, let's go through this. Okay, so on December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022, and thank you, known as 617. Yeah, I know you don't know because you're not going to pay attention. You're just going to keep going on and on and on your ramblings, okay? If you listen to what we're doing here, by the time it's over, you'll say, holy shit, that's him. Okay, but you won't do it because you don't want to. You get what I'm saying? Whew, wow. Hey, thanks, Renee H. Yep, we can see you, whoa, Lisa.
I'm with you, Gray. It's helping a lot the way you go.
No, it doesn't, Kyle. On December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI. From June 23rd, 2022 to current prospective location information and a pen register trap and trace on Kohberger's phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims, associates, before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13, 2022, the location of the White launcher registered to Kohberger, as well as location of Kohberger. On December 23, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, investigators received historical records of Kohberger's phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June of 2022. After consulting with the CAST SA investigators, who were able to determine estimated locations for Kohberger's phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court, the records for Kohberger's phone show that his phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours. That means he's out there stalking way late in the evening, right? It's nuts. Like, it's way late in the evening, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 in the morning. That's what his phone is doing. 12 times, 11 times, really, because one of them. But don't you think that's nuts? I mean, he's over there, he's checking out, using the same tower that they use at the house. Yeah, Jesus. Well, then, I wouldn't want you on the jury, Nellie B, because if you go through this document, you should be able to find him guilty anyways. But you aren't one of those people, so you'd be the hung jury type. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you do, Keeley. I'm sure you do. One of these occasions on August 21st, 2022, Kohberger's phone utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residence from 10:34 to 11:35 p.m. So this is 10:34 to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by the Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke. As mentioned above, Kohberger's phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of cellular data provided showed Kohberger's phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho. So here's where everything gets put together. If you just can follow along for a minute or so, you'll be able to do it. Yeah, well, Nellie, I don't respect your opinion here because we already know that he is the killer, okay? Now, we can pretend that he's not. But Gray has trouble respecting it. I do have trouble with it. When you're not using logic and reason, I have a trouble with it. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't respect people who have opinions that don't use logic and reason. They just go, oh, nope, I don't think so, I haven't heard it yet, I don't hear it yet. You don't, though, Nellie. You don't, because you haven't let me get through this. That's what I'm saying. Try to do it, Nellie. You can probably do it. I think you might be able to. All right. So anyways, further analysis of the cellular data provided showed that Kohberger's phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195 at approximately 12:36 p.m. So now, at the same day even, so here's what he did. He drove to, to Moscow, Idaho, killed them. Then he comes back. Then at 9, he drives over to check on his handiwork, drives back home. Then at 12:36, he takes off and heads towards Lewiston, Idaho. Okay? So Lewiston, Idaho is down here. So now, this is where everything gets put together here. Well, I'm the one that's arguing with Nellie. Everybody else doesn't have to argue with Nellie. I am not watching other people. I'm the one that's arguing with her. Other people don't need to, be talking to her, but she just keeps bitterly arguing. And I can just tell you right now that if I was in court and just heard the information that's on here, the circumstantial evidence would be enough for me to vote guilty for this guy. It's incredible. Well, hey, Jordan, mate. I'm still going through it, mate. All right. Anyways, here we go. 12:36 p.m. Bryan Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe. So here he is, everybody. His cell phone is way down here in Lewiston, Idaho, at Kate's Cup of Joe. So just his cell phone. Okay, yeah, his cell phone. Oh, but that's not it. That's not all, everybody. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef store located right here, located 820 Port Drive, Clarkson, Washington, adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra. Oh, so now we've got suspect vehicle 1 and Bryan Kohberger's phone in the same location. We see Bryan Kohberger's phone and the white Elantra. His phone pings here. The white Elantra is seen on a camera right here. Okay? And then the suspect vehicle 1 drives past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from Kohberger's phone. So the white Elantra drives by Kate's Cup of Joe, consistent with Kohberger's phone pinging. It doesn't end there, everybody. At 12:46, Kohberger's phone then utilizes cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store, which is just right here. So he leaves there, and then he goes to the Albertsons parking lot right here. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Bryan Kohberger himself exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1, the same vehicle they've been tracking all day, and he's there at 12:49. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items, they know what the items are, at the checkout, and leave at 1:04 p.m. So he leaves the store at 1:04 p.m., and Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below. Well, it's pretty obvious. He came down like this, came in, bing, 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 went to these stores. All right. So now we've linked up the Kohberger's phone with him physically and the white Elantra. Okay? Does that make sense to you? It should. It should absolutely make sense. Yeah. No, hey, Nellie B, I don't need you to keep complaining. I don't care if you're here watching or not. But if you're going to keep complaining about, oh, he doesn't respect... I don't mind people's questions, but your questions aren't very good. I'm just letting you know. I read a couple of them and I was like, oh my God, Jesus. All right, so come up with one that is something that contains all of the elements that we're talking about, and then I think it'd be awesome. Hey, welcome, Mustang Sally. All right. Additional analysis of records of Kohberger's phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 and 5:36 p.m., so check it out, he disappears for, gosh, it must be 5 hours. We don't know what he's doing. But he drives up this direction, 5:32 to 5:36 p.m. Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Washington. So there's Johnson, Washington right here. There's actually a cell tower that's right here. If you zoom in on it, you can see it. Can you guys see that cell tower right there? So that tower right there was capturing Kohberger's phone for a 4-minute period of time. His phone was pinging off of that tower right there. And so he turned it on just for that little limited amount of time. Then Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Washington. The Kohberger's phone then stops reporting to the network from 5:36 to 8:30. So he turned it off again, and who knows what he's doing. Was he in the area up here then collecting the same items that he had dumped earlier or hiding them somewhere? Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and then let's see. So then he just drives around. We don't know what he's doing. His phone is off though, and it turns back on at 8:30. The King Road residence contains significant amount of blood from the victim, including spatter and cast-off bloodstain pattern, resulting from blood drops released from an object due to its motion, which, based on my training, makes it likely that the evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. Based on the location of the suspect vehicle and Kohberger's phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence. Let's see. Yeah, at this time, it's likely that he still had blood or other traces evidence on his person. Right. I think he got rid of most of it somewhere on that long, crazy drive. Can anybody think of another reason that you would be way out here and take this wild route back home unless you're literally trying to look for a place to dump something? I mean, why not do like you exit and take one of these other roads and just kind of, sneak right back into town over here? Instead, he takes this really long, drawn out down south, the green path here, up back like that. To date, we have not recovered the weapon used, and that's because I think it's out here, or it was at one time anyway. One likely location for the closed-mask shoes that he was wearing during the attack would be his residence. I don't think so. While I believe Kohberger is visiting family in Pennsylvania over the current school break at WSU, I believe he intends to return for the start of the next semester. Yeah, so it is. I mean, I could say it's possible that he went and picked up the stuff and then drove back to Pennsylvania. Yeah, well, maybe I'll turn them on a little bit, Nellie B. You can call in. I don't mind having a conversation. It's just some of your questions weren't, they're just like, whew, Let's see. Oh man. You know what's funny is there's so many people. You don't think that is incredibly damning right there, everybody? Just listen. Let me just do it in a nutshell. At 2:40 in the morning, his car leaves Pullman, Washington. Then at 3:20, his vehicle, 3:26, it's driving around on this road right here, and then it does multiple loops, his vehicle. And then the same vehicle seen on the camera right here at 1112. It drives this way, turns around, back over here. This was at 404. Then does a 3-point turn, and then sort of disappears off camera for 12 minutes or so. And then at 4:20, after all of them are killed right during that time, his vehicle drives away, and they see him going on Willanter Drive. Then because his car does not show up on various cameras, they know that he exited down here. And then he headed south because then his phone is turned on again. And it starts pinging all the way down like this, all the way around. There's 15 minutes of missing time on this drive. I think that's where he got rid of the bloody knife and the bloody clothes. Then he drives up here, and then at 5:25 he starts pulling into town here. Then he gets into his house up here, and then at 9 in the morning, he's leaving the area, drives all the way over here, and then gets back. He just goes by to check his handiwork out, wonders why there's nobody there yet. Probably did the same Willanter Drive, just driving from a distance. And then over here, he gets back home at 9:36 or something, if I remember right. Something like that, right? Then he hangs out there, and then around 12:30, he heads on, and he's all the way down at 12:36, so he left, obviously, at 11-something from Pullman, Washington. His car comes down here. It goes to Cup of Joe here. His phone pings there. This camera sees the same suspect vehicle 1, and still, wow, we can't connect the physical body with the phone and the car. Oh my God, but right after that, he goes to Albertsons right here, gets out of the car, and you see his face in the store, linking all 3 of the elements together. It is him. Now, the only way it's not him, and by the way, his DNA matched the DNA that was on the sheath of the knife that was found in the room. Okay? Man, I don't know, man. I don't know how, I don't know how anybody can look at this and go, I don't know. I think somebody else was using his car earlier in the morning. And then they used it again at 9 in the morning to go check. And then all of a sudden, Kohberger, who was drugged, and then he woke up, and then he had something to go do down in Clarkston, Washington over there, Lewiston area. I guess it was Clarkston, Washington, Lewiston, Idaho. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Can anybody explain how that's not Kohberger? Let me know. I mean, this is the 3rd time in 6 months we've gone over this thing, and every time I go over it, I'm just like, oh, yeah. So this is what it says right here. Based on my training experience, when someone plans an event, let me go down to his conclusion. I'm not sure he does that at the very bottom. I can't remember if he does that or not. Based on all the above information, I conclude that it is probable cause that Kohberger committed the 4 murders at the King Road residence. I have probable cause to believe evidence of the crimes committed at the King Road residence will be found at Kohberger's residence. So this is just to get the search warrant. I have probable cause to believe that Bryan Kohberger committed the crimes of murder, first degree. Based on all the above information, I'm seeking a search warrant. Now, if I was a judge, I would just sign that sucker so fast. That is absolutely incredible information. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Did you see an out there? Where's the out for Kohberger here? He was just randomly driving around, and they're just pinning it on somebody who was unlucky enough to turn off his phone when just during the sort of the drive over and the drive back. And come on, everybody. I mean, just use common sense. Common sense. That's all I ask. All right, man. Hey, you want me to turn on the phones? Huh? Oh, God. Let's see. But we're going to have to get that stream goal up a little bit, you guys. Hey, maybe we just did it. Did we just get one there? Oh, thanks, nature lover. Yeah. Here's the thing. People can ask all kinds of questions they want. I don't have to go, wow, that was great. You know? And I only respect questions when they're good ones, where it's like, wow, that's a really good question. Yeah, but see, people did that. Let me just say something. In the Letitia Stout, wow, guys, thank you so much. Jiggy England and Marie Crossley. Here, let me put you guys in the spin really quick. By the way, if you guys aren't watching the rerun of the old Jodi Arias trial, man, you guys are missing out. That's some crazy shit. Yeah, she's one of those people that probably pushed every button of every guy she ever dated. I mean, just a psycho. Yeah, so remember in the Letitia Stout trial, when we were watching the Letitia Stout trial, Letitia Stout admitted to killing Gannon Stout. It's just that it's, she's trying to go on reason of insanity, right? But these jurors kept asking questions that they were wondering about the overall, guilt in the case. Like, hey, when they use the blue star, does it destroy the DNA? And people were like, wow, what a great question. And I think it's the dumbest question I've ever heard in my life. Who cares if blue star ruins the DNA? She admits to killing Gannon Stout. That is an irrelevant question now during that case. Oh, jeez, Zozo. Oh, she's got you, Nellie. She's got you. Anyways, yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, those kind of questions, they're like people that are trying to act intellectual and ask these really, oh, look how great this question is. Look at me, everybody. I've got this fantastic question. No, Zozo said, Nellie B, I got you. Oh, yes. Everybody put the love hugs around Nellie B. She obviously, look at Nellie B's a strong person. She doesn't need people doing that. Hey, thanks, George Leonard.
Guilty, no doubts.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I totally agree. All right, so here we go. We're going to do it. Woo-hoo-hoo! The phone lines are going to get open here. And I expect the first call to be Nellie B. All right. That's okay. I'm just flipping you crap, Zozo. Is there a night we don't flip each other shit? Just like earlier when you said, you've said it already 3 times, Gray. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a good time. Did you hear that? Gray's recording it. Well, the show's live. Don't you think they'll hear it anyways? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, and got to just get the phone numbers here. Those aren't good numbers. Those aren't good numbers yet. Okay. So now it is. Now it is. Hey, Love the Sun 100.
Chewbacca?
I got my other computers playing it over there too. Good times. Love the Sun. Thanks, Love the Sun, on John Dunn, the legend. I got you. Hey, I got you. I got you all, man. Let me give you bear hugs. Oh. All right, here we go. Somebody called in. I don't know who this one is, but... All right, 216. You're on 216. Hello, hello. Welcome to the... Who's this? I don't hear you. Well, you're not Nellie B.
No, I'm not. I was listening to the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew Nellie B was supposed to call in. I had a question, though, about the Delphi case and the Iowa 4 case. Are they both going to be televised?
Idaho. Well, it's Idaho, but yeah, I'm not... the Delphi one, I think people are still waiting on that one, and Idaho 4, man, I don't know. I mean, I suspect they would cover... It's just such a big case, it'd be... But so was the Lori and Chad Daybell stuff, and they didn't get televised, so... I don't know. I think all trials should be televised. There are 4 people.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's like we...
Yeah.
You know, it should be the right of people to see them, to be honest.
Are you going to be showing them on your channel?
If they have them, I will. Yeah, for sure.
Man, yeah. Can you imagine how many viewers Grizzly True Crime's going to get?
Oh, God, she'll get like 1,000, like 1,000,000 of them. Yeah, because all the sensationalism that's on there, sure. Yeah, it'll be good stuff. Isn't that crazy? You knew that somebody was going to come in and pull that bullshit again. You can get all the trigger bunnies you guys want over there. Oh, yeah, everybody. Oh, yeah. Get that trigger bunny, honey. You want some money? Are you a dummy with a... Oh, everybody. Do you guys need a trigger bunny? Do you need a trigger bunny? Oh, yeah. I need one. No, they hung up on themselves. That's all they called for. They didn't give a shit. They've done that before. All right, let's see. 828. Hello? 828, are you on there?
Hello. Hello.
You don't sell like Nellie B either. What's going on?
Not too much, man. I just want to say I appreciate you.
Well, thanks. You got any thoughts or... No, that was it? Well, thank you. Somebody called just to say they appreciated me, I guess. All right, 314.
Right, can you hear me on this, Mildred?
Oh, my God, Mildred. You only call when we're doing Kohberger? You ever even watch the show?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Now I watch it when you're doing Delphi and some other ones, too. But now, hon, I've been down in my back, and I haven't been able to watch my programs for a while. But I'm back.
All right. Oh, I just talked about you. I just talked about you the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm real surprised at you, Gray.
Were you going to hit me upside the head with a purse?
What?
You going to slap me upside the head with a purse?
Now, Gray, I wouldn't whoop you with my pocketbook. I save that for people I don't like.
The pocketbook. Okay, what's going on?
Well, I'm surprised at you, Gray, because you said you would convict him if you were on the jury just by listening to that paper. Well,
no, not listening to the paper.
A Bigfoot or a chupacabra. They could have gotten a hold of his phone and his vehicle.
Oh, shit. You know, you got me. That's totally true.
I know. Well, what does your spirit box say about it, hon?
Let me see. Hold on. Oh, my God. Add a hut. Stupid! Doing it, little buddy. Skipper! I hear it. You guys hear it? It says it was bat shit. Bat shit, right at the end. I heard it.
Well, I heard dumbass in there, too.
I did, too. I think it was pretty clear.
No, great. I'm just joshing you. Hey, hon, I think you're right. I would convict old Bushy Brows with just that paper.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely shows that he... I mean, what other... there isn't another explanation for it. It's just... it's just so obvious. And his DNA is on the sheath that's in the house. So he was there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Gray, though, I'm going to tell you, the man could sit here and confess on national TV, and there's always going to be some goober out there that doesn't buy it because he's got to be different or contrary or whatever.
Right. And you know what they always say? This is the line that they always say. Things just aren't adding up. This doesn't make sense to me. Things aren't adding up. Yeah, that's the classic
line. Well, maybe they didn't take the same arithmetic in school that I did.
Probably not.
Probably not. But anyway, Gray, I just thought I'd say hi. It's been a while, hon, and I think you're still doing a great job.
Well, thank you. Well, you should...
and don't let the dumbasses get you down now.
Every once in a while, but I appreciate it, Mildred.
All right, hon, I'm going to let you get your other callers.
All right, well, call back in. All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Who doesn't like Mildred? Anyways, where is Nellie B? Where are you? Yeah, it's right there, the phone number. You just dial it. What's your area code, Nellie B? Yeah, it's right there on the screen, though. Nellie, it's right there on the screen. Meeting ID and passcode. It's sitting right there. It's right on the screen. He says it's asking me to enter meeting password plus #. Not sure what that means. Yeah, okay. It's not going to work. CR decoder. How would that even work? What was he doing in the area that night? He might try to claim it was somebody else driving his vehicle, but it doesn't make any sense, man. The whole thing points right. His DNA was in the house on a sheath. He is the killer. He just thinks he's smart enough. Oh, it's from Britain? Oh, how does that work for you guys? Here, let me try something again. Hold on. Ah, shit. That doesn't work. Okay, I do have a UK, I think I have UK, hold on. Yeah, United Kingdom stuff here. I don't know if I put this on the screen, if you can even see it, but see these right here? These are United Kingdom numbers. What if I zoom in? Can you see these right here? So those are the first numbers, and then the meeting ID and passcode still work the same. Oh wait, maybe that'll work. Hold on. Hello?
Is that Gray?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's Nellie B.
Hey, Nellie B. Haven't you called before?
Yes, of course, on Nicola Bully. Do you remember me now? I'm not a horrible, crazy person.
I remember the Nikki Bully. I remember yeah, I do remember that one.
You do. So now you've picked on me all night for being a crazy BCK supporter. I'm not.
I never said you were a supporter. I just said you're... Like the questions you're asked are the sort of similar to the ones you see in the Letitia Stout case, where it's just sort of like, great, really interesting question, but what does it have to do? Okay, so go ahead. What are some of the questions? Go ahead.
I would love a discussion with you about this because there were a couple of people in your chat. There's a tarot lady and Mustang Sally who were like, "Oh my God, BCK supporter." I am not.
Oh, I don't think you're a
at all.
supporter. Yeah, you're just more. Things don't make sense to you.
Thank you. And I think it's good to look. If I was on a jury, okay, I would ask certain questions, and I think we should. And I agree with what you're saying. I think there's a very good chance he has done this, but there are certain things that have gone out there that make me go, what?
What?
And,
Like, give me one.
And that's for me.
Give me one.
Okay, so here's one. Here's the big one for me.
But
right?
make sure
At the
whatever you're
beginning-
saying, though, it can't be some rumor that you saw on Facebook.
No.
Okay,
This
good.
is. I don't do rumours. I don't even trust this stupid Dave character who's phoning in and saw someone
Never heard of
crouching
him.
in a field.
Never
and,
heard of him.
No, I don't do that. So this is my first one, okay? At the beginning of the case, do you remember there were hours missing from Zana and Ethan's timeline from 9 p.m.? That was going on in the presses. You can research them again.
Yeah. But what is it? I know. I mean,
that.
I get that part. Yeah, but they got home at 1 something. So at that point, it doesn't matter
1.
anymore, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no. But my point is, as a juror, I would want to trust law enforcement. Okay, so I would assume that they interviewed BF and DM very quickly and got their timeline straight. Okay, so BF and DM were out separately and were at home by 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That was what they released. Hours were missing from 9 p.m. on X and E's timeline. When the PCA came out, BF saw X and E at Sigma Chi until 1:45. How can she have done that when she was home by 1 a.m.?
I don't know. I mean,
So
I know, but as a juror, you're asking questions, just like the Letitia Stout case. It's irrelevant because it's like these people going, "Hey, why did the blue star? Does it destroy the DNA? Oh my God!" And everybody goes, "Ooh, wow, ooh, that's such a great question."
No,
and that's what this is right here because it was 4 in the morning is when Kohberger's car drove by, when everybody's still at home sleeping there. So whether they got some little piece of information like, oh, they got home at this time or this time, off a little bit,
but
it doesn't matter.
It discredit Ellie a little bit?
Well, it's law enforcement, not LE.
Ellie?
Yeah, we'll say law enforcement when you're speaking.
Sorry, I know. We went through this with unaliving, didn't we?
Yeah, you say LE when you're typing to save time.
Law enforcement, yes, I do. And then I get my caps all muddled up. But, okay, but it discredits. I think you've got to have faith in law enforcement and think, what the hell have they done with this timeline then? I don't get it. So I'm just all I'm trying to do in my stupid questions is think like, jurors are Joe Blogs on the street, aren't they? And they will think, okay, well that's a bit odd that law enforcement didn't get the timeline right. So then they didn't get the Elantra year right. So then you start thinking,
they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They came up with a frame because it looked like, oh, is this the look of that year? And then they realized, oh wait, there's more years that it could encompass. So it was 2011 to 2016 instead of 2011 to 2014. So it had 5 years in there. They even say it in this document here. See, I don't have the same paranoia like these people. I see what you're asking are kind of questions.
Paranoia.
These are things right here that if a jury cares about, they're just not bright. Like they're going to be sitting there and they're going to be going, "Oh God! Oh my God! Oh my God!"
I'm actually quite a bright person.
I'm just saying right there. That doesn't. But that's something to be. You shouldn't be concerned about that. It's just sort of like, they were awful. Hold on a second. Like in the Delphi case, when I read the Richard Allen thing, it was actually the Ron Logan document. They said the girls were dropped off at the bridge at 1, okay, but it was actually 1:46, okay.
because they finally got the actual information on cameras. So, does that mean, oh my God, how did LE, as you like to call it, get it wrong on the document? Holy crap, man! It should have been what? It's an irrelevant point, really. It was just kind of a narrative talking about trying to get a warrant. Because that's the same thing, right? Like this kind of stuff doesn't bother me in the slightest, you know.
Well, there's quite a lot that bothers me, you see, and we're going to have to differ on it. But things like, say, you know, Bryan Kohberger was putting stuff in the neighbour's trash. Why didn't they tell us what was in the trash?
But why do they have to? Why would they tell us what's in the trash? Why does that bother you that they didn't tell us what was in the trash?
Because that would help
none of our business what's in there.
Warrant, wouldn't it?
No, the arrest warrant is they only need to put a 51% burden for the judge, where the judge goes, oh yeah, here you got enough there for a warrant. They don't need to put all this other information in there that the defense could then use later. Go, oh wow, they got that, they got this, and that. They don't have to put any of that stuff in there. They didn't need it. The warrant that they put out was it's staggeringly.
No, you're quite right. You're
condemning.
Quite right. A lot will come out in trial. I understand that, and that's the problem. We're all looking at what's been fed us so far in a PCA, which hasn't got all of it in. But when there are inconsistencies with what law enforcement have said so far, it makes me question what's coming up.
But what are they? Okay, but you're focusing on this little thing where when did the part when they said that they got home at 1? When was that?
In all the original presses.
Right. Okay, but that's the original one. Because they're just giving
but they must have been the first people they interviewed.
But they're just giving a narrative out there. They don't have to give you precise information.
Okay.
They don't really want to. They're just giving, hey, here's what it is. Or around they were around 1 o'clock. They were still awake when the rest of them came home around 2. Okay, and then later, more precise information comes out, and that's what we have now. We have precise information. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean, oh, wow, they're really screwing up, man. These were the original press conferences and stuff. Who cares? Half of that stuff wasn't even like, they kept making us think that other people were involved because they wouldn't clear them. Oh, and then they cleared them later. But then if you're using your logic, you should say, oh, man, how come they didn't clear that guy before? I think there's still something going on with that person. But later they changed something and then they moved on, right? So that's kind of what happens here.
Yeah.
It's just don't get boggled down with that kind of stuff. When that's I think that is an issue with. You're not alone. I mean, there's just so many people that get bogged down on little pieces of information that aren't significant.
Well, it's just anyway, we'll see what comes out in trial. But I am not a BCK supporter.
Well, I never said that. I don't know why anybody would say that. You didn't.
No, lots of people in chat are saying that, not you.
I got the same thing.
I just think that we should question. Yeah. There are people who are wrongfully convicted, and there is a part of me that thinks that possibly, and this is speculative, absolutely. But there is a part of me that thinks there's no way that town would have anything other than a stalker scenario, okay? But it could have been a stalker scenario. But I just think that 1 in 20 people are wrongfully convicted, and I just feel that if there's something that doesn't ring true to me, I'd like to question it. And I think that's a good thing.
Okay, well, I know, but forget the whole 1 o'clock thing is irrelevant. So, what is some other point in the case that you're like, I don't know, I just don't know, man? Like, what is it?
Right, there's a few things I've already mentioned, like why didn't they say what was in the trash?
Yeah, but I know, but that's
okay. Hang on, I'm on the spot. Hang on, I'm trying to think.
Part of the other part,
bushy eyebrows. Yeah. How is that an identification?
Well,
that guy on the band field had bushier eyebrows than anyone I've ever seen.
Oh, there's a guy
what?
walking towards her with bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, well,
That's
it doesn't.
identification.
It's an identification. All it is just he had bushy eyebrows, and Bryan Kohberger has bushy eyebrows. That doesn't mean it's, oh my God, I'm identifying through the eyebrows. It's just Bryan Kohberger has bushy eyebrows, and he, that he does. So it's like, okay, if he didn't have,
I think he's got more of a furrowed brow. But okay, so
no, his
one.
eyebrows are as bushy as Bigfoot. I mean, it's like lately it looks like he's been plucking them.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
Well,
on
we're not going to
Here's
disagree because they literally are bushy eyebrows. We've seen them. We saw the original
but lots
ones.
of men have bushy eyebrows. Lots of men follow the girls on Instagram, I'm sure, and lots of men have liked their posts, and I think a lot of men have probably pinged in that area late at night. And also, I've forgotten now what the other thing that I was going to say, which was quite relevant.
But did their phones actually, right after they leave another town, their phone seemingly disappears off the network until just after the murders? How many of those do you think there were?
No, I agree. That is definitely an issue. Okay, so this is another one. So how does law enforcement give credit to their other pings when they say quite clearly that his phone pinged in Moscow on the 14th of November, but they do not believe his phone was there?
What did you say? No, they said his phone didn't ping there because it wasn't. They don't believe he was in Moscow. He wasn't in the area that time. They didn't say it ever pinged.
It says in the PC. No, it does. It says in the PCA that phone number pings in Moscow on the 14th of November. However, they do not believe his phone was there at that time. So how do they give credit to all the other phone pings then?
I'd have to go find that precise portion to be able to confirm that that's what it said.
But that is the truth. I've read it several times. So then I think, as a juror, how do they... I'm sure they've got more information. I am sure, but this is
there's a cell tower over here, and you could be driving on 270. It might ping in an area. The part that's important here is that at 2:40 in the morning, his car is it's seen on camera and his phone, so it is his Elantra that is leaving the area, and then it is turned off, and then at 3:20, the same vehicle, missing the license plate and everything, is driving around and moving around on Walanta Drive and doing loops and so forth. And then at 4:04, the same car goes by the 1112 address, turns around, blah, 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 does everything. And then at like 4:06, disappears because it went up that side back road, in my opinion. Then at 4:20, it appears again on the camera, and it's still not on his phone. Then his phone turns on again when it's heading south and it's sort of outside of the town, driving way down here. I mean, come on, it's just so clear.
So, genuine question, and this is my stupidity, but his Elantra, do they know it's his Elantra because of the phone? Or because it has no front license plate? Or they can't read the front license plate? That's a genuine question, I don't know.
No, it doesn't have one. It doesn't have a license plate.
So is that what they said?
Wait, what did you ask? What did you ask about? You said why the car about the license plate? I missed it.
Sorry, no, I was saying genuine question. I don't know the answer. So how have they identified that it's his Elantra driving around? Is it because it didn't have a front license plate coupled with his phone? Or is it just his phone? Or is it an Elantra without a front license plate? Because you know the photo of the Elantra going past the gas station? That looked like, or maybe it wasn't an Elantra, but it looked like a completely different car with tinted windows at the back.
Yeah.
And I wonder, that sort of faded away. And I am genuinely a bit confused about how they know for sure it's his Elantra.
Yeah, I don't even remember what time when it went by that gas station it was. I know where it is because I'm looking at it right here, the Exxon gas station. But the car was heading in. I don't even remember. Is it the same night at 4 something? I don't even remember.
Yes, yeah. I thought it was a screenshot.
It's not even in the probable cause document though, or the warrant.
No, exactly.
So it doesn't matter.
That just
so maybe it's not
away,
even. Well, it might not even be his car though. You know, it doesn't seem to match.
No, that was my question. Was that the same car? How do we know that was the Elantra in question? Was it? I assume it's the phone pings coupled with the Elantra driving around. Well,
that was just one that the gas station people released themselves. Law enforcement didn't put that out, so we don't even know if that was the Elantra itself. I mean, it could be. It doesn't sort of match the driving and.
No, I don't think it does. I'm sure it's got tinted windows at the back, which Bryan Kohberger's doesn't. I don't think.
Well, it also doesn't match where the car went at that time. It went south, down. I guess, I mean, I guess it's technically possible it went south and then drove back up around, and actually almost taking the same route that it might have been doing on some of these loops, and then drove by, and then maybe it cut back down on Blaine Street or something later and went this way. I mean, I don't know, and maybe that would account for maybe that 10 minutes of missing time. Don't know though. Don't know. That may be sort of interesting if it was.
Yeah, I think so. And didn't it also drive past the police station? Have I got that correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he drove right by here, and they were saying it's near the police station. I didn't really care. It's like right here is where the phone there's a camera there, and it drove like this. Now, in one of the shows, they go, "Ooh, look, it's by the police." I don't buy that at all, that he was driving around trying to monitor what the cops were doing from up on high. It sounds ludicrous to me. But people come up with all kinds of things to create interest. To me, he's just driving around, doing loops and trying to avoid sort of, he might have gone various different routes but knew exactly where he was going. And he was just waiting for a particular time. Maybe he was waiting for lights to turn off in the house. Don't really know for sure, but apparently they were in their beds in their rooms by 4. And, so 4 o'clock in the morning, that's when he finally went by. So it's sort of interesting that matches up too. That's when he went in 4:04 and then turned around, did a 3-point turn, and then went into the house. But it sounds like Zeta may have still been awake, and
I think they were all awake. That's my opinion.
Well, I think they're all kind of still, but they probably had the lights off, just hanging out, bullshitting and stuff. But then Zena's room, if she was still awake waiting for food, it seems like her light probably would have been on in that room in the front there. But he would have been on the back. So when he got there at 4, he was driving around, saw that light, and he probably, got impatient at one point. And he finally just pulled in that back, and he noticed that Kaylee's room was dark, and maybe even Madison's room was dark. So then he made his move and went in through the sliding glass door in the kitchen.
Mhm.
That's kind of how I was thinking of it.
This is purely my opinion, nothing else. My issue is people say, "Oh, he's book smart, he's not street smart." Every one of us on your channel tonight and in chat, I don't believe this was premeditated if it was him, because not one of us would have taken our cell phone, and not one of us would have driven round past all those cameras.
Well, no, but it is premeditated. Well, no, but it is premeditated because he turned off his phone while driving there.
But he must be really stupid then.
Well, no, because he needed it for driving later. But yeah, I mean, I guess part of him is stupid because then he turned it on when he was down south. And he thought, well, this is far enough away. Nobody's going to associate this with the murder. I mean, it's just so dumb, but...
He is dumb. I admit then he's dumb, because I tell you what, I'm not a criminology student. But if I say, I've got a fucking issue with those people over there, I want to go and kill them. Oh, I would know I'm not going to drive, because they're going to see my car past all the ring cameras that I'm going to pass.
and I better not drive round for a few hours. And I'm not going to take my cell because they'll trace that. I'll certainly turn it off before I go. And, I'm going to walk into this house and I'm going to hold a knife in a sheath and I'm going to say, I'm just going to put this down here for a second and now I'm going to stab you. He must be really bloody stupid. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think probably it's not Was it just like an angsty driving round and then a bam? I don't know. I can't work it out. I
think he was aware of them. He obviously went into town 12 times. I guess there was some indications in various articles out there that, he liked them and maybe tried to communicate with one of them on, I don't know if it was Instagram or wherever the hell it was. So maybe he was sort of stalking them. That's what those other trips were for. And then he finally made his move. He's probably is a serial killer wannabe because of all the classes he was in and has the same mentality as one. And he just goes over. He planned it all out and he went over there and he did a pretty good job of hiding it because it took him quite a while. 3-4 weeks to actually sort of narrow it down. But he was dumb enough to use his own vehicle. And he just figured, I don't know. The vehicle part's stupid, but he didn't have a cell phone on, so he maybe thought that that'd be enough because it could be anybody's white Elantra. Yeah.
Yeah, But the other issue I've got, if you don't mind chatting some more, just briefly. I'm sure there are other callers, but just quickly.
Not really.
How did he know that? I know that obviously he's driven around town. And he first entered the King Road area at 3:29. We have got hours missing in the PCA from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. We don't know what went on. They could have carried on partying. All we know in that time is that Kaylee called Jack D and Maddie called Jack D. And at one point she said, come over. Had they continued partying? Had they had a couple more over from Sigma Chi? We don't know. We have no idea. And we've got this guy, say it's Brian, in an Elantra driving round, who suddenly pulls up the minute the DoorDash goes. How does he know who is in that house?
Because he's been driving around. He's been there. He's just watching the house. If you drive by, you can see where lights are on. He probably already knows what room is Kaylee's. He knows what room is Madison. He probably assumes at 4 o'clock in the morning that everybody's going to be in the house. Yeah. Like at 2 in the morning, you wouldn't know, but 4, people are generally at home at that point. Parties are done.
I just always felt, I suppose, when it first came out that someone was watching them out the back and was on foot. I found it surprising that someone was circling around town, did all these 3-point turns back and forth, drove up the back, got in, went out.
And yet they did, right? It's all on camera.
Inside the house.
Well, they did it, though, because it's all on camera. Isn't that weird? So it actually happened. So even though you find it weird, it did happen. Hey, look at this. It does say, investigators found that Kohberger's phone did connect to a cell phone tower. I think I remember that the first time I read it. I just kind of skipped over it, but it says, did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators do not believe that Kohberger's phone was in Moscow on that time. So all it would be is, like if you were, this is exactly what I was saying before. If his phone was even around in this area, right here, his phone would likely ping, well, it's in between on 270, his phone would likely ping off of a tower in Moscow, even if he's not in the town itself. He could have driven over here.
It would be very interesting, wouldn't it, to know if he was teaching on that Monday. When they said, we know that his phone pinged in Moscow, but we know that phone wasn't in Moscow.
Yep.
I wonder, I'd love to know if he was teaching.
Where?
On that day in Washington.
Why, though? What would that tell you?
How unreliable their phone ping data is.
Yeah, phones ping information has some flaws in it, but you're not going to have a flaw where his phone is driving south at 450 to 426 way down here, pinging on various towers, moving around, and then heading north back up into Pullman, Washington.
No, that's odd behaviour. That is.
Yeah.
I agree.
So.
But I do think it's our job to question, and I don't think I've asked unintelligent questions.
Well, I mean, I think
like
those ones are okay, but the first one about the 1 o'clock and being really concerned about that is being really concerned about the 1 o'clock and it's different than the meeting. Eugenie.
No, because
hold on a
second. Grey.
Hold on a second. Eugenie.
For me, if I was on the jury, I'd say, well, no.
But listen. Eugenie, a few minutes ago in the chat, because I cover tons and tons of cold cases from 1960, 70, and all that, and I go through all the newspaper articles. And when I'm going through the newspaper articles, the facts change throughout the reading of the articles on every day. It's like, okay, now it's a little different, a little more specific time frame. We're a little bit further. It just goes on. And then by the end, you have something that's more accurate. So that's the same thing here. You got these early on press conferences. They're just throwing out, around 1 o'clock, da-da-da-da. Maybe they don't want to give exact information for the killer, other things like that. Who the hell knows?
No, there is that.
But over time, you get more precise. And that's why, in the Delphi case, even in the first articles, people would say, yeah, the girls were dropped off at 1. They were supposed to be picked up at 5. I mean, totally off. Not even close to correct information at all, because I actually talked to the people who were aware, like Becky, for example. Now, they had a different time of 1:37 that the girls were dropped off. Turns out it's 1:48. So, even now, it changed again in the Richard Allen probable cause document. After all these years, having it narrowed to 1:37, it's now 1:48. So why is that? Ooh, was somebody trying? No, see, it's just the way it is, We don't always get all of the accurate information.
I do agree. I completely agree. However, I'm just saying, I'm Joe Bloggs, and if I was on a jury, I'd think, well, surely they interviewed Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen immediately. Why were they... If Bethany Funk saw Zana and Ethan at Sigma Chi until 1:45, why were they appealing to the public for their whereabouts?
Well, they weren't appealing
and that would make me question whether they were inept or not.
They weren't appealing for the whereabouts of Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. They were appealing for if anybody had seen...
Zana and Ethan.
Yeah, Zana and Ethan. They were wondering where they were between, I think it was 9 and 1:45. Because they know they got home at 1:45, but where were they before that? That's what they were wondering. Yeah, I just don't understand. See, stuff like that just doesn't bug me. It could have been, the girl, she saw them between 9 and 1:30 at the Sigma Chi party, but that doesn't mean was she staring at them the whole time? So maybe there's times where, maybe I saw her at, I think I saw them at 9:30, and I saw him again at 11:50. It was around midnight, and then I saw him once at 1, and then I didn't, and then maybe at 1:30 before I left, I saw him standing in a group. So maybe they want to know where they were during all the rest of the time.
Yeah, true. But I would think either Bethany Funk said she was home by 1 a.m. Initially, or Ellie got it wrong, or Bethany changed her story, and that would cast a little bit of doubt in my mind.
But it shouldn't. But why does it cast your doubt in your mind about Kohberger? Who cares? See, the thing is this
because it's law enforcement.
No, I know, but that's being paranoid. No, it doesn't mean anything to do with law enforcement ability. It means that the early reports in the media were just what they were. See, the thing is, you said if she said she got home at 1. How do we know that isn't what she said originally? But then when they did further,
I agree.
But hold on. But when they were doing further investigation, they actually see and they determine, you know what, you actually got home around 1:30. So do you think maybe you saw them at the Sigma Chi right before? So it was 1:30. Just like with Dylan Mortensen when she says, at around 4, I heard this sound. Well, we don't really know exactly what time that was. It could have been 4:08.
No,
and so we don't really get to know things. And sometimes that's how it works. They narrow things down, and they interview them a few more times, and they start getting more specific. When early on, it's just sort of, she got home at 1. Where were they? Where was Dylan? Where was Ethan? And where was Zaina? I don't know. I just don't get bogged down on that kind of stuff. It's the later. Right now, once they put out the warrant, that's the information that if it starts changing dramatically off of that, then I would get a little worried.
Okay.
But when you have these reports and stuff, then it's like, so what? That came out early. They've narrowed things down. They've got it more specific now. Here's a warrant. This is going to be really accurate information. Now, if it comes out later like, oh, yeah, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, well, that might be a problem for somebody.
Okay. Just one last question.
Oh,
I'm
God,
sure I'm
here we
getting
go.
on everyone's nerves.
No, you're not.
Just one more. Just your opinion on the 8-hour delay. That's all.
The 8-hour delay?
It's a genuine question for calling 911.
I just think it's, they're freaking out. Like, I think that, I think Dylan Mortensen probably sat in her room absolutely paralyzed, and Bethany Funk probably eventually got to sleep and didn't realize something had happened. And then when she got up, she went upstairs. I think she's actually the one that found Ethan and them. She goes upstairs and sees that, and I think Dylan Mortensen might have like long-term sort of PTSD type stuff going on here. I mean, what she heard and saw, and just the fright that she has, and seeing what actually happened to all those friends. So eventually I think people don't want to see this stuff and acknowledge it happening. So they might have been like slowly coming out of the room and then finally see the horror, and then the ball started getting rolling. I wouldn't be surprised if Bethany Funk saw them there, a body, and then went, oh shit, and then called friends first, like, hey, I don't know what's going on, I want to go look, can you guys come over and check? And then when they saw, they go, oh shit, and then 911 started getting called.
Okay. I was interested to know what your thought was.
I mean, doesn't that sound somewhat reasonable? Because, I mean, other than that, what other reason
could
there be?
Absolutely. No, that was a genuine question, because it puzzles me, and it's always nice to know what other people think about that.
I mean, what other reason would there be?
I'm just very curious to know why you'd call friends over before 911. I can understand an 8-hour delay and hiding in your room and all of that, but I can't understand calling friends over.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I think most people, I think most people in this case at one point probably thought, that's kind of weird. But here's the thing, it did. So it did take that long, and unless you're somebody who thinks that they're part of the murder, then again, it's irrelevant, right? It's sort of one of those things like, wow, people just do things differently. They're probably scared out of their minds.
No, I didn't mean that in a questioning the BCK thing. It was just your thoughts, that's all. I was curious. So, anyway, I better let you go. Thank you very much for having a conversation with me.
It wasn't too bad, right? Come on. And by the way,
I wasn't in discuss. That's why I wanted to call, because when you're on chat, I mean, God, I had some abuse on there, and it was like, no, I'm not a sicko. I'm quite an intelligent woman, and yes, I'm not. I've never been on a jury before, but Joe Bloggs is on a jury, and that's my point. That. You're going to get someone off the street who's like me, who's going to ask some questions that are a bit similar to mine, and.
Well, I get it. But that's why I always say, when we say, "Oh, a jury of our peers." See, I would think when people start, I think differently than other people, so I wouldn't think of those as peers of mine. I would think of them as sort of like, wow, why are you questioning that? So just like the lady that was on the jury Letitia Stout that asked, hey, does Blue Star destroy DNA once you put it on there? when that is absolutely irrelevant to the case because she's already admitted to killing Gannett. It's just about her sanity. So
Yeah,
what does it matter? So
exactly.
that means they're
But
they're
that's-
sleuthing the case out. They're like trying to figure out who did it. You know, and those are dumb
I know.
questions.
No, I agree completely, and I knew that she was. Obviously, we all knew she was guilty without a doubt, but I knew she wasn't insane.
Right.
And with the day bail trial, I'm like, Jesus Christ, take her down to the cells now. But with Bryan Kohberger, I've had questions, and that's been different for me. Whether they're right or wrong, I am Joe Public, and I might be a juror one day, and I would have the same questions, and that's my point. There might be stupid questions to you, who's more intelligent or more clued up on this, but I'm not unintelligent.
Well, I wouldn't say.
to-
I'm not saying it's unintelligent. I guess what it is for me is I'm more like, just sort of like, hey, I can weed out the stuff that doesn't matter. I don't need to have the answer for every little, every single thing, right? I don't need the answers for that. Like, I know, like, Zozo's one of the people that needs an answer for every little tiny little, and it's like, it just doesn't matter at all. I know you are, but it's really annoying and frustrating to people that just kind of weed through the garbage and go right to, this is the part that's important here, everybody. We don't really need to know.
Well, you sort the wheat from the chaff, we say in the UK. You sort the bullshit out, basically.
Yeah, and sometimes the minutia matters. Like there's these little things that might actually kind of make a difference. But I can tell almost immediately when a question has no relevance whatsoever to a case or has nothing to do with what even matters. I can almost tell you that like right away. So
no, I agree, and that's why I wanted to chat about it rather than just, the trouble in chat is you throw out comments and you know what you want to say and you've got limited space. So it's been great to talk about it. Thank you.
Well, I think you talked about it good. It was it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I could talk all night about it and have a discussion, but I'm going to get on everyone's nerves, so I'm going to go now.
You don't get on people's nerves. Come on.
But anyways, I'm sure I do. But thank you, Gray. Lovely to talk to you again.
Here's the thing. But if you're from England, or you're from England, right? UK?
I'm from Wales. I'm
Wales,
a Welsh girl.
So the thing is, when you have the accent, you immediately get more credibility just for having the accent.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, even if you have none.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, even if you have none at all, just having the accent, wow, okay, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah, Zozo, you are smarter than Gray thinks. I just saw.
Well, I don't think she's dumb. I just think some of the questions she asks are
you're
completely.
so kind, Gray.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you've got a very clever way, Gray, of I don't know. You're one of those YouTubers that are so unique that oh my God, I listened to your first couple of videos and I thought, excuse me, I'm going to swear. Fuck that. I'm not listening to this arsehole. Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
And the next thing, I've drifted back in. And the next thing, I'm a bloody member.
Well,
and
there
I've
you
just
go.
copped a load of abuse tonight. And I'm like, well, just let me call in then.
Right.
So you've got something, Gray. You've got something. We all love you. We all love you, Gray.
All right. Well, hey, thanks. Thanks for hanging out and staying around. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right. See
It's
ya.
been lovely to talk to you.
All right. Bye-bye. You too.
Night.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so Zozo said up there, I'm way smarter than you think, right? No, I don't think you're dumb. I think some of the questions you ask are irrelevant and sort of bog up the chat on something that means absolutely nothing. So it doesn't mean that you're not smart. Obviously, you're smart. You run a business and you do all that kind of stuff. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, you do that a lot. You bring up something like, so why did Kohberger step out of the car with his right foot when he's actually left-footed, dominant? So when he stepped out of that car, and it's like, who gives a shit why he stepped out of the car with his right foot? It means nothing. So that's the stuff that I'm talking about. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have it. There's no more other callers. And guess what? It landed right at the 3-hour mark. You were at a bar, Kami? Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are details that don't matter, Danielle. That's the point. So there's some that matter, and those show up every once in a while, but there's some that are just like, you know, they don't mean anything. Hey, no, that's okay, Nana Pam. I think that's about it. Oh, the bar in bed. Jesus, you're just sitting in bed drinking? What are you drinking? Kamie's just chilling in a bed right now. Yeah, I totally agree with that, eh? I think those questions that she asked about the 1 o'clock aren't good questions. I'm not changing that. I think that's not really relevant or important to the case whatsoever. What matters is the Kohberger timeline in his phone and the white Elantra. It doesn't really matter to me that Bethany, one of them, originally it was reported out there that they were home at 1. That doesn't mean anything to me at all. It's absolutely irrelevant to the case, has nothing to do with anything. And, you know, so, I mean, how do you make that relevant? So that's why I don't think those are good questions. Now, some of the other ones, like, hey, you know, what do they mean by the phone pinging on the 14th on the same tower that's consistent with the, you know, the tower in Moscow, Idaho, but they don't believe the car was ever there? Well, you know, that's sort of, you know, someone might have to explain that somewhere because it actually is in that document, but they weren't trying. You know what's interesting about that is they didn't try to hide that information. They literally put it in there. You know, a sort of a piece of information that was a little odd, they threw in there because they don't believe he was even there at all, even though it did say that the phone pinged over there. Right? You guys are crazy people, man.
This ain't funny. Gonna need a trigger bunny. I ain't feeling sunny, dummy. I ain't feeling sunny, dummy. I need my trigger bunny. Hey, honey, you feeling crummy? Here's a trigger bunny. It will help you feel funny. No, no more nose a runny. It's your trigger bunny, honey.
Yeah, I'd like to be on a jury sometime. Yeah, one time I was actually called up to be on a grand jury, but I had something I had to go do. That would have been pretty sweet. I think that was before I was really even into true crime, though. I think it's our duty to try to get out of jury duty before you were into true crime. Like if you actually couldn't find a way to get out of jury duty, you shouldn't be on jury duty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, isn't that ironic? If you can't figure out how to get off of jury duty, you shouldn't be on jury duty. Yeah, I've got those before too, but I mean, I can't really do that. I work from home, and you're on a jury. There's no income at all. It's just like both like the jobs that I do. I'm not going to be able to do it. But don't you guys agree with what I just said? If you can't figure out how to get off of a jury duty, then you shouldn't be serving on a jury. You get what I'm saying? Thanks, Tosh. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Or haven't, whatever what the situation was.
Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom. Doom 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 doom. What do you mean, no, Gray? Yeah, right. There are people that want to be on jury or people that are trying to get out of work or they have nothing better to do. Okay? No, Gray. Some people just feel like it's a duty to be on there and want to give back to society. Yeah, really? You want to sit around with all those sniveling people in the waiting room, waiting for them to, maybe call your name that day? Yeah. Almost got on a jury, but I wouldn't mind being on a jury if I knew I was going there to be on a jury. What I don't like doing is sitting around with 200 people wearing sweatpants with pizza grease all over their belly, waiting to see if you might serve on a jury. Thanks, A. Wow, that's such a unique name. I think it's probably the shortest name I've ever seen. Right. I'm going to put A on the wheel. That's going to be a weird one. Yeah, no, it is. It is obvious. Bryan Kohberger is the killer in the Idaho 4 case. Okay? I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And here's what I bet you anything that the jury has not the jury. That law enforcement has a treasure trove of information outside of what is on that probable cause document. Or the warrant, actually. Yeah, the greasy sweatpants. Come on, you guys have been there, right? I went to a jury... Okay, I think it was in like the early 2000s. I went to a jury duty downtown Portland. I put a suit on. I went down there, and when I get in there, you see these people wearing sweatpants and jogging shoes, not unlike my New Balance that I wear now, except I didn't wear them that day. And they're all just sitting around, like just wow, really strange stuff. I didn't know that's what it was really like. And then they always say, this is a jury of your peers. And I'm looking around thinking, here's how bad it is. They took me aside and thanked me for wearing a suit. I was like, doesn't everybody? Apparently not everybody. They look like people who just got done running a 6-mile run and were about to take a shower. Thanks, Nellie B. Yeah, sweatpants. Make sure to wear one of the wife beater tank top shirts and put a big smear of spaghetti sauce in the middle, and you'll fit right in, okay? You'll just look like everybody else in there. You were keeping... What does that say? You were keeping too close to Delphi B... no, he is guilty, Christine. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Delphi. Like, Delphi didn't have anything to do with what I just said. But Bryan Kohberger did do this. Now, whether, you want... If a jury doesn't... I'll see the trial, too, But it's like there's no chance that he's not the killer here. He did this. He is locked in a box here. But what does Delphi have to do with anything that I was talking about? Yeah, everybody has some sort of dress clothes, Cindy. Everybody has something. They could put on their regular dark blue jeans and maybe a shirt that has a collar on it and head on down there. It's better than the...
an email around March about an update with my brother's homicide case in New Zealand. Thank you for your hard work.
I remember that one. You just sent me one tonight, or I remember that case. Wasn't it like on a farm or something that you worked at? If I remember that correctly, or thanks, Rita Schaefer. Rita Schaefer. Rita Schaefer. Rita Schaefer. Yeah, that's right, an orchard, right? Yeah, that's why I meant a farm, you know. That's something about a tent, something, right? Actually, that was a long time ago. It seemed like that was over a year ago when I looked at that. I don't have the phone open anymore, Nellie B, because nobody called in after that. Usually just trolls call in most of the time, you know. Who are you talking about, Discerning Light? I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm saying, well, I said most of the time. You weren't a troll, Nellie B. You can be one, though, if you want to be. No, I know, Cindy J, you always keep saying, yeah, you get my point, and then you have a but. I'm just, come on. For one time, just have a full-on, yeah, Gray, that totally makes sense. You know, you rarely do that. Just depends on the person prying, Paula. I have to call 911 with what I do for a living sometimes, and it's always scary. Can't imagine. Let me turn these off. Oops. I'll go to this one. Yeah, we can put the comments up on the screen now. Right. So you go to teacher school, Cindy, with sweatpants on and a t-shirt. I doubt it. Let's see. Being on a jury shouldn't feel like a trip to Walmart. Yeah, I totally agree, Nicole. Ain't that the truth right there? And yet it is. And yet it is. There we go, right there. That might fit. Oh, it looks like Chloe. You know what I realized what Chloe looks like? You guys ever watch what was it called? Caddyshack? She sort of looks like the little gopher that's running around down there. Yeah, why wouldn't you be a I think it would be cool to be on a jury if it was decided that you're on a jury. Like, hey, can you come down? We've selected you to be on a jury, or in the select few that get the voir dire or something. I just don't like the part where it's you sit around in a room the whole day to see if there are cases. Oh, you know what's crazy, you guys? Did you guys see that picture today? You know the show Modern Family? There's a picture out there with Lori Vallow with Tylee, much younger, and then Colby walking in the picture. It's pretty weird. It's like on a set somewhere. Oh, and there's Blue. Did Blue just show up there, or was he there the whole time? Come here, Chloe. Come here, Chloe. Oh, you're going to come, Blue? Come on, Blue. Get over here. Come on. Come on, Chloe. Come on. Come on. What the hell did she just do? Come here, Chloe. Come here. Come here. Come here, Chloe. Ooh. Ugh. There she is, everybody. The little tiny Chloe. Got too much crap on the screen. Let me see if the other one works. Oh, there you go. She's so little, but she's such a cool dog, you know. Just her little behaviors and stuff. Right? Yeah, she is really little. Probably, she only weighs 3 pounds. We get nervous putting her out at night because my eagle or owl might get her. Right, Blue? All right, come here, Blue. Come here, buddy. Come here, Blue. Come here. Come here. Come here, Blue. Come here. Blue, Blue, Blue. Come here. Blue. Come here. Come here, Blue. Oh, and there's Blue. This is the Blue notebooks, you guys. You can hear him, right? He's making that sound. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, AF. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Oh, Blue. Hey, everybody. Hi. Hey. All right. Crazy Blue. Crazy Blue. Yep. Yeah, little dogs are easy to take care of. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's see. And just because I think questions are irrelevant doesn't mean I think somebody's dumb. Okay? I just don't think they're good questions. Because they're just sort of... a lot of times people ask questions just because they want to know the answer when it really doesn't provide any information that helps the case out at all. It's just sort of like, I want to know the answer. How many sisters did Kaylee have? I don't know, but who gives a shit? Okay? It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the case, but yet those are asked, and people start going, I don't know, I heard that you had... Who cares? You get it? I mean, it just... Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I just feel like sometimes there are questions that seem irrelevant, and then they might be relevant later, but then there really are ones that are just truly irrelevant right off the bat. Because if you know all the elements that are key to a case, then you know that some questions don't have anything to do with the case. It's like it's not part of it. It's great that you can ask it, but immediately you should realize, yeah, it just doesn't matter, you know. But people just get really offended if you don't think their question's the greatest question on the planet. Yeah, I don't dislike the person or anything. Yeah, so I'm one of those people that when people say, you have to respect their opinion, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with the statement, you have to respect somebody's opinion. I agree with their right to, I have to respect their right to have one. Okay, like they get to say what their opinion is, but I'm not required to respect the opinion itself. I think that that's a disservice to society to have that statement out there. Hey man, you have to respect their opinion, right? Well, you don't, okay? You don't have to. At all. And you don't have to respect my opinion whatsoever, but I mean, I don't disrespect you as a person. Like, I don't think you suck as a person. I don't respect your opinion, though, on something. And I think that's the way it should be for everybody. Because then you're required to respect some, like a psycho's opinion on something. And another thing I can't stand is the, let's agree to disagree. Well, I'm not going to do that when I know something is right. Okay? Now, if it's something like, hey, I think the quarter pounder with cheese is better than the Big Mac, and I say, I don't agree, and then you keep explaining why the Big Mac is better than the quarter pounder with cheese, and then eventually you might just go, you know what, we just agree to disagree. I can do that on those, right? But if I say 1 plus 1 equals 2, and you say it's 17, I'm not going to acquiesce to the, oh, it's, let's just agree to disagree. No. If you're wrong, you're going to be wrong, and I'm never going to change the equation to, let's just agree to disagree. Even if it means to avoid a long, drawn-out argument. Well, Gray, I have 1 as a variable. It's ONE equals 1.3. So it's really 2.6, Gray. No, it's actually 8.5. And 2 of those equals 17. Okay. You got me there. You got me there. See, if I was on a jury, though, they normally don't question things like that, Nellie. Because when you're on a jury, you're not supposed to know about, at 1 o'clock, somebody... When you get there, you're going to see the actual factual information in the case. Now, maybe the defense will say, well, early on, you guys said it was 1. And then it would just be an easy counter. Yeah, our first initial interviews, that's what it sounded like. But by viewing cameras and other information, we were able to determine that they got home at 1:45. It's just such a simple thing. It means nothing. It's... Right. Yeah, that's right. Mustang Sally. She says, I've found that those who question the validity of evidence, question every irrelevant aspect of this case, also somehow think Dylan Mortensen was involved or drugs or second kill. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it is. You always wonder, because they're the ones that think, like, what happened? Yeah, so that's exactly... So, Nellie B., the truth is when somebody asks the question, wondering about Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk and why it took so long, that means you're wondering if they're part of the murder somehow. Because if you're not doing that, then again, it's a completely irrelevant question, right? So people have to admit, yeah, well, I think there might be something more to it because... And so I wouldn't allow those types of questions, and people get angry at that because we're not going to get to know exactly currently until a trial why that may have taken a while, and we might not even know then. Maybe it'll be explained in a narrative at the beginning. But when people start wondering about Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk and how come they didn't do this or that, the reason you're asking that is because you're wondering if they're part of the murders, right? Because if it's not, then why do you care what the answer is? See, that's what I'm saying. There's questions people ask merely because they want to know the answer, even if it has nothing to do with the case. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Hey, make sure to hit that like button really quick, everybody. And also, if you could hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Eventually, you'll be able to put up with me. Yeah. I would say this channel's covered more cases than every other true crime channel on YouTube combined. Okay? And some nights we do 3, 4 cold cases. So that I think we have a really huge... breadth of knowledge about cases and different information. I'm sure we'll have to try to go over this again in another 3 months. What I'm hoping for is we get more information somehow, but I don't know. Doesn't feel like it. That says a lot, Cindy. Nobody knows what that means. Amber Maiden... Me too. What you write. I refuse to re-victimize victims. We should support Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. Yeah. See, I think so too. You know? Now, the defense will probably try to do something because that's their only little angle. But it's just totally bullshit, you know? The 8 hours because well, I mean, it's cool, Nellie B, but I know that I know what the questions mean. I've had those asked a lot on here, And then I get grief because I say that's an irrelevant question because you're trying to... The only reason that's a question to be asked about Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen is if you think they're part of the murder somehow. Because other than that, it just is what it is, right? Who knows why it took so long in the morning? I mean, wasn't that long. It was 9 something in the morning. What time was it? I don't even remember now what time they got there. The cops got there late in this narrative here. Yeah, and every time it's asked, I have the same response. I always say to the person who asks the question, yeah, but what difference does that make either, Nellie? I mean, who cares why they call friends first? Because they probably didn't want... Here's what I was telling people. This is why they probably did that. The reason that they probably called the friends first is because once you call the cops, it's almost the same as when a child's missing and you call in a missing persons report. It becomes final. So they probably saw something that didn't look good and then called friends over to make sure, and then they'll call the cops. People it just doesn't work that way. You know, people are just different. Well, I would imagine that the girl, Bethany Funk, she wouldn't be able to hear as much because she was below the living room. Dylan Mortensen was in a nightmarish position, directly below a murder scene of Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez, with her door open just down the hall, just out in the living room, literally 30 feet away from the murder of Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernodle. She heard it all. She heard every bit of it. And then you wonder, why didn't she call the cops that night? Why didn't she call the cops? I think she was absolutely petrified. Probably didn't even want to make the slightest little peep of a sound. Shut that door and just huddled up. I bet she was shaking the whole night. And in the morning, I mean, I've told this story before, everybody. When I was a kid, and I was camping, and everybody at the camp was talking about Bigfoot. Everybody's talking about Bigfoot. And I go to sleep in my tent. In the middle of the night, I hear this. Which today sounds very similar to somebody snoring. But I was in this tent and I was just, oh my God. That's Bigfoot, man. It's Bigfoot. And I just sat there frightened and stiff as, I could not move at all. I literally sat in that position for the rest of the night until somebody finally woke up at some point. And then I come out and I'm like, oh, okay, whoa. Ooh. It's weird. Yep. Yeah, those are very similar questions, right, Zozo, that you asked, that Nellie B does? The ones that are just not really, I know that people want to know the question, the answers. I don't. I like to know the ones that are right there pushing towards the case and have something to do with it. Every once in a while, the random side one, when you might mean something, and I don't necessarily throw those aside. It's the ones that you just know immediately aren't related because they aren't. It's really simple. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she might have been doing that, Amber. Like, hey, rationalize it. Like, okay, maybe that one meant this. They were just playing around and probably thought about it the whole night, and then finally somebody else woke up in the house and said her name or something, like, hey Dylan, are you there? And she was like, oh yeah, and then things started happening. But I guarantee it that Dylan Mortensen was petrified and the entire night. Wow, 5 a.m. It's 5 a.m. over there? Oh, I guess it's 8 hours ahead, yeah. Why didn't Dylan call earlier? It will be cleared up at trial and would be a non-issue. Yeah, but either way, it's people are trying to, when they ask the question still, I mean, remember the one YouTuber that was saying that it was Kaylee Gonzalez's sorority sisters that they killed her, man. They killed them all. I mean, and then they don't get punished for it because it was edgy and interesting. I think people like that should be shunned and avoided forever after that kind of crap. Now, you might say, well, you were wrong on the boyfriend, but that was like a legit theory. Even the cops were like, they hadn't cleared him yet. And it made more sense than any story, you know. But that turns out that wasn't accurate either, so it is what it is. But man, the sorority sisters, really? I think he went there to kill all 4 of the girls. I think Ethan probably threw or all 5 of them actually, excuse me. So it was like Ethan just threw a wrench into it. It's like, oh wow, too much noise going on, and he got the hell out of there. I think he probably was going to kill all of them. Now, some people think he was just there for Kaylee, but to me it feels like I think he was there to kill every single girl inside that house. I think he was planning on it. He was going to do it while they were all sleeping, and he knew that they were all in different bedrooms. It should have been like this. He goes into the house. He goes upstairs and kills Kaylee. Then he goes into Madison's room and kills Madison. Then he goes downstairs and kills Dylan Mortensen. Then he goes and kills Zana Kernodle. She's still sleeping. Then goes downstairs and kills Bethany Funk and gets outside. But it didn't work that way. Yeah. Instead, 2 of them were in the same room upstairs, and Ethan was with Zana, and it just caused a lot of problems. Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what he was going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's like Ted Bundy's sorority house. I think he was paying homage to Ted Bundy, and I think that's why he even drove down through Utah into Colorado and then back up. I think he was visiting some spots. It's just crazy. And his teacher was an expert in serial killers. And so maybe that was one of them. Some people think it was this other guy, or I don't think he saw Dylan through the door. I think her door was dark in her room, might have been cracked open. He was like, he wanted to get the hell out of there at that point. And I think he had something covering his face. His eyebrows showed. And we already had that information. I still struggle to go to sleep every night thinking about a guy coming at me in the dark. Really? Wow, that's man. How do you even follow true crime, Geckles, with that kind of sort of, you follow a case and then you get freaked out. I would suggest, if you're somebody out there, I say this often, that if you're one of the people that says something like this, oh my God, I haven't slept in days thinking about this case. Oh my God. Oh, I just love those girls and everything. Man, don't get it. Yeah, follow something else, okay? Care about your family members first. And then also, if you're at a point where you can't sleep, this isn't the genre for you, right? Like, I can cover the most horrific thing in the world, watch a TV show at night and go to sleep and feel great, because it's just, we've seen it so many times. It just is what it is. Oh, good. Nellie B said, Gray, I love you, but I hate you, and I love you. Ha ha ha, you're so funny. Yeah. Thanks for hating me, Nellie B. That's so nice. Yeah, that's true. If you don't ask the questions, you don't get the answers. But sometimes maybe, there might be a question you don't actually need to ask and take up other people's time because it's sort of, doesn't mean anything. Like, think through what does this really mean to the case? See, some people just want the answers, like I say, because they want an answer for something. Well, wait. Let's see. So she went to the 7-Eleven. She was going to go get a Slurpee, she told her friend. But she went to the 7-Eleven second after stopping and buying gum at another store. Why did she do that? Why did she do that? Well, because she wanted to buy gum at the first store and then go get a Slurpee? Yeah, right, exactly. There you go. Why? See? There you go. Does anyone know how long it will be until this? Probably 2 or 3 years, I would think. I'd be shocked out of my mind if it... I mean, it's possible it might happen late 2024 or something, but these kind of cases like this have so much stuff going on. I mean, there are terabytes of audio, videos. They have to have time to be able to go through all of it. The 10,000 pages of... It's just, I don't know. I think maybe late 2024, 2025, probably. I mean, it'll be interesting to hear the pathologists and what actually went down inside that house. If any of the stories that you hear, these crazy stories that people tell, if there's any validity to any of that. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to find the article that you're talking about, TTGO, and read it for me to have a question on an answer of, why they wouldn't be using the sheath or something. I don't know. And maybe because their other evidence is so much stronger. Like, for example, if they have any trace of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, or Zana Kernodle's blood on anything of Kohberger's outside of that house, the sheath is almost irrelevant. And touch DNA. It would almost mean nothing. If they have DNA other than that, good night. Okay? If, let's say, they're digging around in his room and they find a towel that has Madison Mogan's blood on it, you don't think that just trumps any sort of tiny little touch DNA on a sheath that people might go, wow, what an idiot. Here's the thing. It's possible that he left the sheath there thinking it was totally clean because he had gloves on or something as a souvenir. It's possible. I think it just fell out of his, fell off of him. But it's possible he left it there like he was going to start leaving sheaths at various crime scenes as sort of a marker, a signature. Okay, well, make sure it says that, TTGO, before, because it sort of starts this rumor mill without really knowing. I dreamt about Ted Bundy once. I was with a friend, and for some reason I told her that Ted Bundy, I told her that's Ted Bundy, but he's nice now. Felt something smash me from behind. I turned around and punched him in the face. Wait, what are you saying? That's Ted Bundy, but he's nice now? Hey, everybody. That's Ed Kemper, but he's so much nicer now. He doesn't chop people's heads off and have sex with the skull anymore. He's really cool now. He's really... he just strangles people to death. He doesn't do that. So eventually he might be really nice. We can sit down and have a talk. And I heard he's got religion. He's got religion now. So... Chloe, did you hear what I just said? Oh my God, you just put a blob on Chloe's head there. Look, Yep, he narrates kids' books. That's great. What kind of sick humor is that? Yeah. Don't you think God you know, hey, listen, I know a lot of you guys believe in the whole, if you accept Jesus into your heart, you go to heaven. Well, that's a load of shit, okay? Do you think God is up there? Here's what it would look like. Ed Kemper says, I accept Jesus. And God goes, wait, oh, there's something in my ear. Oh, God, I couldn't hear you. Pulls the lever, shoots him right down to hell. Okay, they don't give a shit about it. And there's no way in hell Ted Bundy, Dahmer, Kemper, any of those people have any redeeming qualities of any kind. I think we all know that, right? Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Right. That doesn't make any sense, right, Amber? I mean, here's the thing. Does anybody want to be part of a religion that actually believes that? Like, do you want to go somewhere where Ed Kemper's hanging out right next to you with his angel wings on? Ted Bundy right next to him? Son of Sam right next to that guy? Yeah, I don't think so. Gray, I believe that. That's mean. Okay, well, I don't believe that. I think it's ridiculous. Well, they do that to try to pretend that they've changed, Detective Woe Buffett. Right. They could claim it, though. Even if they did, though, Renee, I think there's people beyond any sort of redemption, right? Dahmer's one of those people. He ate people. He murdered people. He ate them. Yeah. Let me see if this credits things works now. Let me see this. Well, you could say, well, those same people that died in the wreck in the Andes, well, that was for survival, not for pleasure. No, look at this. Look at this. I think this might work. Let's see. Roll credits. All right, you guys. There we go. So this is the Generous Freaks here. Thank you, Freaks, for supporting Gray Hughes Investigates. Super Chats are Eugenie. Remember that right out of the bat? Amber Maiden. John Dunn. Kathy Chapin. K. Me. Kim Berger. Karen Van Patten. WNC Granny. Susie Clue. Nana Pam. Danielle. Oh, it cut off before it finished. Shit. It was so cool, though. It was working so well. Let me see if it... Maybe it plays too slow. Let me see if I can speed this up. No, that's font size. Make that bigger. Delay time. Okay, how about this? Okay, this should be quicker now. Let's see how fast this goes. No, not much. Yeah, it's a little bit quicker. Let me see if it works, though. It works over on the other stream for some reason. What's odd, though, is even if when I change the color to white or another color, it still stays yellow, so don't really... Oh, wait, I can see him on this other screen. Yeah, so after Danielle, there's Annie Later Hair Down D. Over here, I might have to try it again. So after yeah, there you go. Annie Later Hair Down D. Robin. Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Mile Runner, Tito, Colleen, Daily Page, Wendy Peppercorn? Wendy Peppercorn. I kept wanting to say Perfection or something. Lisa Murphy, Nona 617, Renee H., Nature Lover, Jiggy England, Marie Crosley, Wendy Johnson, George Leonard, Love the Sun 100, Snug with a Pug, Frida 657, Tosh, A, Nellie B, Ann Healy, Rita Schaefer, AF, and there's Nellie B up there with all the great questions. Oh, there it was, everybody. I think the last one that I didn't say was Nellie B, Clarkio, and Cecil Hotel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the creepy hotel. Should I do a flyby tonight, you guys? How about, I'm going to do a spin really quick for a notebook, though. I don't know if I've got every single person's name in there, but we'll just do one anyways. And this is from like a few nights, so this is just for one notebook here, and here we go. Oh, Jesus. Hey, I like the bunny on there. Here, listen.
Enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks. Great.
Hey, well, thank you, Bobby Smith. There we go. Look at that, huh? Kind of like that. I like that one.
The trigger bunny, honey. You ain't funny.
Well, I'll throw Lori Will in there really quick. Here we go. Love the Sun 100 wins the blue notebook. And yes, if you send $25 into PayPal, you get the blue notebook with his paw prints on it, and also a stress ball that's a free cart, and you get the blue pen. See, and I even sent one to Zozo out there, who got it in a week or so this time, not 4 months, on a ship. Oh, wait, that landed in Hawaii at Chad Daybell's wedding. Hey! I got it, everybody. Anyways, there you go. Love the Sun 100. Make sure to send me your address. See, I told you. Oh, did it really? Come on. That stress ball was good. I told her, I think in a message I said, here's a notebook that you can burn or something like that. It was pretty funny. But you can burn it right up. Just, here's some matches. I drew a picture of a match, I think. You can. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very much for being here tonight and supporting the channel. And I hope that for the people out there that hadn't really gone through the warrant, that when you go through the warrant, you just absolutely can see it, how it all went down. He leaves it over here at about 2:53 in the morning. He drives over here and his car is seen at 3:26 driving around. Then he leaves the area at 4:20 after killing them. Then his vehicle is pinging all around here, and then he gets back up to here at about 5:30-ish. Then at 9 in the morning, his car drives all the way across to check the crime scene and then drives back over to here. Then at 11 or so, he leaves down there and he heads all the way down to Clarkston, where not only is his white Elantra and his phone there, they see him himself get out of his car at the Albertsons here. Then his car is up in this area where his phone turned on for a short amount of time, probably to get more directions. And he's just off the map for hours and hours and hours. Sorry, I had to sneeze right there. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. One of these days soon, I'm going to be doing Melissa Pesky again, though, because that's one of the craziest cases you've ever heard. A lady shot in the head when she's escaping her husband shot in the side of the head, driving on a freeway while she's taking her kids across country to be with somebody else. And her husband's a military person that she was scared of and told a friend, if I get shot, my husband did it. It's a crazy one. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. And until next time, be safe out there. Oh, wait. Or am I? Yeah, I'm going to do the... I'll do a flyby of this.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Cindy, how's it going, Cindy J? Hey, Cindy J, I like you, but I don't know about Ray. Good night, Kathy Chapin. See you tomorrow on Arius. One more time, Grady. It's two Cindys. A Cindy Lou and a Cindy J. Hey, where's Play-Doh, everybody? Haven't seen Play-Doh. You know, Play-Doh? That was a good one. Oluru. Yeah, it looked like a squashed potato on the ground. Everybody, thank you so much. Now, really, what I liked most about the show, Gray, was the time when it.
Would you just be? Come on, Mary Lou. The show's over.
Gosh, Gray, I was just trying to say that I really liked the show, and I wanted to tell you about the part where this one guy was walking down the street and he was.
See, that's what I'm saying. Nobody cares, okay?
I'm sure some people cared when I said.
Are you going to be okay, Mary Lou?
Yeah, I'll be alright. Thanks, Gray.
Wow, you sure recovered from that massive cry really quickly. Alright, well, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Jody Harris Day 25. I think it's a big one. We'll see how it goes. See you tomorrow, and as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, everybody. Good night, everybody. Hey!
Seems like you were going to say something else.
Yeah, I was just going to copy you and say good night, everybody.
All right, see you guys later. Oh, and thanks everybody again for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Hit that like button on the way out the door.
Hey, Gray, isn't that what I did? I just keep talking when the show's over?
Yeah, but okay, you got me there. You got me. All right, see you guys later. Man, I'll tell you what, that Mary Lou, boy, she is... she is one nutty person.
I heard that, Gray. That isn't very nice.
All right, see you later.